All right. Good afternoon, my friend, and welcome here to the Don't Be Jelly 375 for XCAL Racing as we get deeper into the season. My name is PDJ Zell, the voice of XCAL Racing, and we are live on How to Suck at iRacing. As always, alongside me, Doug Burns. Today we go to the half-mile Concord Motorsports Park, a track that they technically say has five corners, but in all reality, it has three corners. And it is like a miniature Pocono, Doug, but a miniature Pocono that's a lot more banked, and it's just I like to call it hell in a cell if you're a WWE fan. It really feels like you're trapped inside this steel cage and you're getting punched on, beat on from every angle for pretty much 375 laps straight here.
Yeah, I fully expect Mankind to get thrown off this cell at some point tonight. I think somebody left Pocono in the dryer too long. And the interesting thing is turns 1 and turn 3, they are the same banking. Turn 2 is 11 degrees. It's 3 degrees shorter. All three straightaways are different banking. So it's even more confusing than Pocono, and it's going to make for, like you said, hell in a cell tonight.
Hell in a cell. Well, speaking of Hell in a Cell, we're going to do a few pre-race driver interviews. The first driver I want to talk to is actually the guy who's going to be starting on pole this evening. And we're down here on the front stretch besides Johnny B right now. Johnny B, first of all, you got a copy on me, Johnny?
Yes, I can hear you, Petey.
Well, Johnny, it turns out that the driver that was scheduled to start on pole will not be able to make the event this evening. Chris Johnson, there was a scoring error. He did not get added to this event properly. So that you starting in third position, that means you'll be starting on pole this evening. So, Johnny, how excited are you to be starting from the front of the field tonight?
Pretty excited. Just worried about being a target, but other than that, I think I can handle it. I'll be all right.
So for you, what's kind of the strategy here early in the race? Obviously, there's going to be some real fast guns behind you, like Luke Turpin starting on your outside, and Austin Edwards right behind you, Octavio Rondoletto. Is maybe your plan here early to try to fend these guys off, or maybe you're just trying to hope to settle somewhere in the top 10?
I'm going to try to just settle down and just run my race and try to be as clean as I can and stay out of everybody's way and do what I can do.
All right, well, thank you, Johnny. Best of luck to you and the 062 team tonight.
All right, thanks, Petey.
All right, that is Johnny Badass Brancacci, as they like to call him. And now we are going to send it down to Doug on pit road, who I believe has caught up with Matthew Bear.
Hey, Matt Bear, this is Doug in the booth. You got me? Hey, Matthew Bear, you got a copy?
All right, looks like we don't have a read on Matthew Bear. I think we have a bad mic in that car. So we're instead, Doug, we're going to actually get a little bit fun for you here. We're going to send you down to talk to your broadcast partner from last week, Marty Zakala.
Hey, Marty, this is Doug. How you doing, buddy? I don't think he has us.
No, I think we're having some faulty microphone issues right now.
He's laughing.
Yeah, no, nothing there on Marty. So let's try to catch word with, golly, I don't even know who to send you down with. Let's give our best shot here at the weapon Tyler Jalbert. Let's send you down into the pits to talk to the weapon.
Sounds good.
There you go, Doug.
All right. Hey, weapon, you got me?
I got you.
Hey, man. So the Devil's Triangle here tonight. What is your expectation tonight?
Oh man, probably a lot of wreck, honestly, the way the heat races went. But I'm hoping we can kind of sneak it out and make something pretty good out of it.
All right. Now, here's an important question. I know a couple of guys are probably going to be shifting based on how their setups are. Are you going to be doing any shifting, or are you going to try and keep it in fourth gear all night?
It's all in the right foot. Gonna stay in fourth and go on with it.
All right, man. Well, best of luck to you. Hopefully we'll be talking to you after the race, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the weapon, Tyler Jalbert, as we caught quick word with him there. And we're getting closer and closer to the starting grid here. We'll maybe catch word with another driver, too. Let's see who I can find here on pit road. It looks like, well, we have Chase Johnson in a different car this week. Let's see what Chase Johnson has to say. Chase, it's PD up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Chase, this week, new team for you on the iRacing team, and you're going to be making your first start for them. Tell me, what is the plan here, Chase, for you and the iRacing team? Is this a one-race contract or maybe more, and how's the car feeling for this event specifically?
Yeah, it feels good. We mainly just went for stable, just trying to survive here tonight. Just gonna see how things go, try to ride, see how things go, and this is we're going full time for Halinar.
You're going full, so tell me, how excited are you about this opportunity, and for you, what made you decide you want to make a change?
Well, it was mainly the points. I mean, the 51, I couldn't really do anything with it, so I was just mainly for the points and trying to run for contending for a championship, which within the 57 I can do, or whatever car Halinar puts me in, because he's got two really good cars and points.
All right, well, hopefully for you, Chase, you can get a good run tonight. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to real quick?
Halinar and the admins and XCAL and everything. Everybody up there in the booth. All XCAL sponsors. Um,
All right, and that's Chase Johnson with an abrupt exit there, and now we're going to send it down to Doug, who I believe is, well, in a second here, Doug is going to be caught up with Heather Patrick.
Hey, Heather Patrick, this is Doug. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. You're in for a wild night tonight.
Oh, yeah?
I know it's been a rough couple of days in the heats leading up to this race. What are your expectations, and how's your car?
In the heat races, I haven't been real fast as far as qualifying time, but I feel like the car was pretty drivable yesterday. We're trying to get her dialed in here today.
You got a chance for a good points finish here tonight, or even a win?
Well, I think we got to start with getting a good points finish first. If the opportunity's there, of course we'd want to go for the win, but I need to get a good finish out of this race with what happened to Sobo last week.
Well, yeah, Sobo was a bit of a rough race for you.
Yeah, I just kind of seemed to get myself in the back there, and then once that started, everything just tended to happen right in front of me. So hard to avoid wrecks when you're kind of driving into them the whole time.
10-4. Well, best of luck to you, bud. Hopefully you'll get that good points finish you need tonight.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that is Sean Heather Patrick. As I'd say, Doug, that might be the man with the most names in XCAL. You got Sean, Cole, Heather, Danica. You can really, and even his last name Patrick, that could be a first name. Heather's all over the place.
It's almost Kiefer Sutherland level of names here with him. It's truly impressive, and it'll be interesting to see if Danica can get to the front tonight. Stay out of trouble. That's going to be, I think that from what we saw in the heats, that's going to be the main thing, is staying out of trouble. And I know a lot of drivers are frustrated coming into the night.
There are a lot of frustrated drivers coming into tonight's event. But that is, I was hoping, I didn't really know who was frustrated or not. I hadn't heard the rumblings in the garage area this week, but I heard there were some frustrated drivers. I was hoping one of those guys would happen to be one. Didn't seem like it. But we are going to now get ready to grid here, as we have 30 seconds till we get things underway. So I'm going to get the starting lineup ready. Doug, before we get things underway here, though, I do want to make note of one thing. This turn 3, very nasty here. It's a weird banked turn. You got to kind of go around it funky to get the speed around that corner. Cars that are slower, some of the slower cars this week, they've been struggling with a tight condition in turn 3, and the slow cars, they'll get tight in that corner, and they'll just drag right up next to the wall, and pretty much there's only one way to exit that corner. All the fast cars and slow cars exit the same onto a skinny front stretch, and whenever those slow cars are coming off the corner and they're not going very fast, they're checking up trying not to hit the wall because they're so tight, and the fast cars are ripping around that corner at full speed because they have their car set up well. It creates a big problem on exit when those cars meet in the middle. That could be troublesome corner all night.
Definitely could be. I really expect with turn 1, turn 4, or turn 1 and turn 3 are the same banking, but the radius is completely different, and that throws everything off. So I expect chaos there. They're either going to be loose or tight. It's very hard to be neutral in that turn.
All right, well, here is your starting lineup for tonight's Don't Be Jelly 375. Starting on pole position, and actually I do apologize. I said it was Johnny B. I forgot, since the driver never joined the session, that it does just move everyone up their spot. So starting on pole position tonight will be the 454 of Luke Turpin, actually. And outside pole will be the 062 of Johnny Brancaccio, Johnny B, with his best start of the season. In third, in the number 66, will be Austin Edwards. And in fourth, in the 01, will be John Shorts. In fifth, in the number 25, will be Jacob Heathcote. In sixth, in the 04, will be Tyler Jalbert. In seventh, in the number 2, will be Brandon Varney. In eighth, in the number 61, will be Greg Holes. In ninth, will be the 84 of Pud Ryan Soper. And in 10th, will be the 96 of Mason Foster. In 11th, will be the number 12, that's Kenny Tripp. In 12th is the 05 of Jeff Edgar. 13th is the 48 of Jordan Babinger. 14th is the 99 of Tyler McRae. 15th is the 57 of Chase Johnson. 16th is the 19 of Matthew Baer. 17th is the 81 of Blake Wynn. 18th is the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. 19th is the 16 of Pat Sullivan. And 20th is the 28 of Mike Stoddard. 21st is the 22 of Heather Sean Patrick. 22nd is the 08 of Logan Jones. 23rd is the 06 of John Friley, and 24th is the number 1 car of Art Hendren. 25th is the 82, that's Alex Gangler. 26th is the number 20, that's Jose Gaudino. 27th is the 03 of Marty Zakala. 28th is the 52, Travis Sukup makes his first start in XCAL since week 2 at USA. 29th is the 7 of Robert Colgan making his second career start. And 30th is the 17 of Jeremy Leto. 31st, the 15 of Kendrick Cryer. 32nd is the 21 of Trevor Birchmere. And riding shotgun on the field in 33, it will be the 77, that's Octavio Rondoletto.
And
so here we come.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry there, Doug. We are coming. We're coming to green. We have contact already before the race. Austin Edwards and John Schwartz touch as we come to the green flag. We'll keep an eye there. Those are two mild-mannered guys. Surprising there. Here we come off the corner. Johnny B gets a little bit of a jump there. Turpin hasn't gone yet. Turpin hits the gun, and we're underway in the Don't Be Jelly 375. Turpin jumps out to the spot. Now the K2 teammates race for second. Edwards will take it from Johnny.
And they are already starting to get 3 wide as the first time they go into turn 3. This is where things will start to get very, very dicey. These guys have been working on the setups all week, but they're still going to be feeling each other out, and it is going to get very interesting very quick. Turn 2 will also be extremely dangerous tonight. That's the highest speed corner out here, and it's looking dangerous right now, Petey.
Yeah, that Johnny B 062 car, he's trying to drop back right now. I know he is, and he almost gets into the wall there. That makes it so tight off turn 3. I talked about how troublesome that corner can be. It looks like everyone will make it around Johnny B. Now Johnny B might be able to calm down a little bit. Up front, we don't have any side-by-side racing going on until we get to the lead. There is a side-by-side battle for the top spot. Austin Edwards trying to take it away from Turpin. The two great rivals right now. These guys have won all of the last 6 races. These two have been cutthroat with each other, running first and second week in and week out. And right now, a new challenger making his XCAL Racing debut in third right now. Jacob Heathcote having a good run so far, Doug. This is his first career XCAL start.
Yeah, that's a very good run to be starting so far up in 6th and then or 5th, excuse me, and then to be up front running with these two guys speaks volumes about his talent, because these two guys, they're already starting to break away from the field in 5 laps. He's hanging with them, and he's the only one hanging with them, so definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Couple quick cars right now. Brandon Varney up to 4th right now. Tyler Jalbert up to 5th. Kenny Tripp up to 6th. He started 11th. Those guys, they are all affiliated with Mainly Asphalt. And I know those guys have been really quick this week. Actually, Doug, when we came here in the preseason, it was a 4-car battle for the win all race long. Luke Turpin, Tyler Jalbert, Kenny Tripp, and Brandon Varney, those 4 were on top of each other. They were pretty much in a 4-car pack the entire race. It was a phenomenal race. However, a little bit past halfway, Tyler Jalbert, the weapon, started playing his games like he likes to do sometimes. Him and Luke Turpin got into it. That destroyed Kenny Tripp, Jalbert, Luke Turpin. Brandon Varney went on to win East Leagues. He's the only car that survived that. So Varney won here in the preseason. But worth noting, in the preseason, it was a deadlock between Varney, Jalbert, Turpin, and Tripp. And that was before Edwards came to XCAL, so I imagine his name will be in the hat tonight too.
Yeah, and just a note, Octavio Rondoletto, we're watching him right now. He's picked up 11 spots since the start. By far the biggest mover. And last week, he had that race all but in the bag until he started having connection issues, and that really ruined his night. So looking forward to seeing if he can get up here at this very tricky triangle and compete for the win before this thing is all said and done. He's extremely smart on strategy. Always comes with a good setup, so he's going to be one to watch, as he's already up to 22nd after starting back in 33rd.
And Doug, we do have a little bit of XCAL history that has been changed this week. For the first time in XCAL racing history, the number 5 car of Derek Colson DNQ'd. Derek Colson did not qualify for this race. He was one of the 7 cars to go home. And Derek Colson had started every single one of the 42 XCAL events that had been started since 2014. An Ironman streak that is now the new record for XCAL. Luke Turpin now is the longest active streak. I believe it's about 25. And Derek Colson, though, he had that long Ironman streak of 42 races, never missed a race. Tonight's the first time we don't see the 5 car in the field.
Wow, that's kind of crazy that that streak ended. So who did you say who now has the streak, and how long do you expect that to continue?
Luke Turpin does now. Luke Turpin does now, and I believe we have to get the exact number. I imagine it's in the 20s because he has ran since late 2014. He came to XCAL late in 2014, unlike Colson, who had been with XCAL since the start. But Turpin now, he does have the Ironman streak, and he's going to try to catch Colson. And the thing with Turpin is too, Colson. No disrespect to Derek Colson whatsoever. He's a great driver. Obviously, he's qualified for 42 races in a row. You have to be fast to make 42 races in a row. He's not on the same level of Luke Turpin where he's racing for the win every single week. I don't expect Luke Turpin to have a DNQ. The only way his streak will end if he just can't make a race.
Yeah, that Luke Turpin is always up at the front. We're always talking about him. He's always battling as the leaders are already into lap traffic here. Him and Austin, the last few weeks, it's just been those two. And I think you're right. Nobody's going to break that streak unless he just... it looks like Tyler Batchelder was just involved in an incident.
He must be. We already have a couple cars that have gone laps down. Jeremy Leto's 2 laps down. That car is very, very slow on the racetrack. That car does not have good pace right now. The 17 car is out of shape. Also, already in the lap traffic's our leader, Austin Edwards, and that's going to be a big thing here tonight, Doug. Lap traffic will be an issue. It's such a small track, only a half mile, and the corners are so tight. All these guys are running different paces right now. It's going to be hectic. Lap traffic, I promise you, will play a factor in the result of this race tonight.
Oh, definitely. I think that one of the things you see, you've got half miles that are like Bristol, and you can get spread out on Bristol, but here it's just nonstop. You're either constantly turning or constantly correcting the car. So it's a constant battle the entire race. As it looks like Johnny B just hit pit road. It is constant movement, constant something is going on. You're on the brakes, you're on the gas, you're turning. So these guys are just going to be all over each other all night, and there won't be many gaps in the field.
There will not be. So we up front, Austin Edwards has opened up a big lead, but the battle for second is getting heated up. The 25 car, which is also a mainly asphalt car. Right now we have mainly asphalt guys in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're all mainly asphalt or affiliated on the Sullivan iRacing team. Those are pretty much the same team. They all work together. And it's just interesting here because I think they're faster than Luke Turpin right now. Looking at the lap times, it looks like they might be a smidgen slower than Edwards right now. Edwards really does appear to be the class of the field early on in this race. However, this is going to change as the night goes on. But it is worth noting here, Doug, those mainly asphalt cars, they look like they have a lot of speed, at least early in this run here. Here we go. Brandon Varney's going to take 3rd position away from Jacob Heathcote. He'll set his sights on Turpin. Yeah,
and the rookie Smart just letting Varney go by. Varney's always fast on these more difficult tracks. He seems to be one of the more technical drivers out there, and the rookie is very smart to let him go by, and then he can follow in his tire tracks and see what he can learn here. And actually,
too.
25 drops back to 5th behind Jailbert now.
Jailbert, he led the most laps when we came here last time before he got in that incident that took him out of the race. Jailbert had a lot of speed here in the preseason, and that 04 car, I don't know if he's I think he might be a little bit slower as he comes up on the lap car of John Friley quickly. Might be a little bit slower than Varney right now, but I think he's probably the 3rd fastest car on the racetrack, and that could change quickly. And it's so early in the race, we don't know if these guys are showing their full hand. Usually Jailbert's not a guy to save his hand, if you know what I mean, Doug. Usually he's showing you what he's got, but the 04 car, I expect him to be up there near the podium until he does something that puts himself in a position not to be.
Yeah, he is not one that is up there saving tires, saving fuel. He's going for it from the word go, and he's just going to push that car to its limit. And I guarantee you, he's actually closing down on Varney right now, so I would imagine that he's going to be up there battling for the lead before too much longer. And he seems to have a lot more speed through 1 and through 3 than the cars in front of him. That's where he seems to be gaining the most. Everybody's going to pick up a lot of speed through turn 2. You're full throttle through there. Turns 1 and turn 3, especially turn 3, as we mentioned, extremely tricky. And I think that's where he's going to, as he gets to the back of the 454.
He does, and right now, one car on pit road going 5 laps down already is Tyler Batchelder, as we have a great battle going on for 3rd and 4th right now. Luke Turpin and the 04 of Tyler Jalbert, and I saw Luke Turpin actually put the finger out of the window. He is not happy with Jalbert there after he made a little contact, but we do have a issue now for Edwards up front leading this race. Doug, he's already getting up to the guys that are running 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. He's already put the guys 33rd through 23rd a lap down. He's getting into more competitive lap traffic. These guys are still racing. We're only on lap 30. They're racing for spots right now. They're not trying to go a lap down. And for Austin Edwards now, he is getting in some really thick lap traffic as he goes 3 wide off the corner.
Yeah, these guys right in front of him were 3 wide themselves just a couple of laps ago. So, he's right in the mess of it. And as you mentioned, lap traffic's going to play a huge factor here tonight. And the question is going to be how easily Austin Edwards gets through and how easily the folks behind him get through as well. If the guys behind him catch up to teammates or people that are cooperative, they might be able to gain some ground in the lap traffic. But if they angered somebody last week at Sobo, you never know. And there was a lot of anger after Sobo last week and a lot of anger after the heats this week, so things is going to get dicey.
And Doug, one thing about this track too that I really want to point out, that have you ever raced here, Doug, on iRacing, just out of curiosity?
I have raced Legends, late models, and super late models here.
So you're going to know what I mean when I say this. This is one of those tracks where you just can't get out of the way if you're a lap car, like Heather Patrick's doing right now. Because the thing is, once you get out of the way, Johnny B's 2 laps down, Doug. And from the beginning of this race, he was just trying to get out of the way. It's such a small track with 33 cars on it. If you're just trying to get out of the way, you're going to be trying to get out of the way all night long. You have to stay in the lane. You have to run a good pace. You can't just get out of the way because there's not going to be a place to settle in at this track. You're just going to be getting out of the way all night long.
Yeah, there is no gap. Even with 15 cars on the track, if you move, you're getting passed by somebody. There's just no way around it. And as the leader's trying to negotiate traffic, these guys are not wanting to get out of the way, as you mentioned, because as he passes another car here, he's underneath the 22. He might bring somebody else with him.
Yeah, while this is happening, too, Brandon Varney is absolutely tracking him down. He's closed about a second in the last 5 laps. That, too, of Brandon Varney is running quick as Art Hendren gets into the wall. That makes things tight off the corner. Jalbert has picked up 3rd from Luke Turpin. He's moved in front of Turpin. Now we have Heathcote all over Luke Turpin right now. I will say, though, it looks like Heathcote in his XCAL debut, Doug, he's just trying to keep that car clean and mind his P's and Q's. He knows he has a good run going on. He's not trying to do anything too risky. And one last thing, another change of position. Jordan Babinger in the 48, he just got 6th away from Kenny Tripp.
Yes, he did, but these guys better start worrying. Even though they're starting to lap cars, Octavio Rondoletto is charging through the field. He just cleared 3 more cars. He is now up to 17th. And he's got some clean air in front of him, and he is extremely fast out there. His fastest lap times are equal to that of the leaders, so he's coming to the front as well. But as you mentioned, the rookie in the 25 car, Jacob Heathcote, man, he's putting on a great show out there. He's being very smart about it too.
And we actually have a great battle going on right now for about 9th, 10th, and 11th right now. 3 cars under a blanket. Pud Ryan Soper having a really good run right now. 40 laps in. That car's still in 9th position right now. Right behind him is Chase Johnson, a winner earlier this season at USA. His first week on the Halinar Racing team. We'll be curious to see how he does in that 57 car. And one thing about the Halinar Racing team is, the 57 gets into the back bumper of Pud there. Gets Pud loose. Pud's going to hang on to the position. No matter who's in those Halinar Racing Team cars, though, Doug, they're always some of the best prepared cars in XCAL. They always have a great setup underneath them, and those cars are always fast. Now with a driver with the caliber of Chase Johnson in it, I'm excited to see what he can do, because when they had a driver great like Brandon Varney in it, Varney was up front every week in this car. Johnson, I expect the same.
Yeah, Varney was up front quite often in this car, and we saw him at Southern National, I believe it was, where he was really strong and up towards the front all night, managed to put several cars a lap down, led quite a bit. He's definitely got a hot rod here tonight. Chase.
He does.
And Chase Johnson and that whole team, every time we talk about the Hallinar team, they're charging towards the front.
Thick lap traffic now for the 66 of Austin Edwards. I mean, he is right in it. And these are good cars he's in right now, too. Right in front of him, Trevor Birchmere and Tyler McRae. Those are two guys that are running up front quite a bit. And then you're talking about how good Octavio's been so far in this race. This is such a small track here, Doug. Octavio's about half a straightaway away from getting lapped right now.
I just saw that as they were coming through. That is crazy that he is that fast, but 45, 47 laps into this thing, he's already about to be lapped. He's had to battle through a lot of traffic, and now he's got some clear track in front of him. But will it be enough to keep himself on the lead lap? That's going to be the big question mark with a lot of these guys. And, again, bringing it back to Southern National, we had all but 3 cars on the lead. Or we only had 3 cars on the lead lap in the last 50 laps. If there hadn't been a late caution, it would have been a 3-car race. That could be something that happens here again tonight.
Changing position, moving up to 5th, Jordan Babinger. He just got around the 25 of Heathcote. That 48 car, he is looking strong. Definitely the best dropping bombs car we've seen out there so far. That 48 car is making his way through some traffic as our leader is in heavy lap traffic still right now, trying to negotiate through these cars. Tyler McRae not wanting to get out of the way, neither will Octavio Rondoletto. 3 really good lap cars in front of Edwards here. Let's see how this ends up breaking down. They are racing side by side in front of them. Let's see if using patience here will be the 66 of Austin Edwards. As, the 77 and Pat Sullivan, they're racing tight. Edwards is going to go to the outside of McRae. He's thinking about peaking high. He won't. He dives it back down low. He gets underneath McRae. A daring move there. And McRae's going to tap him. McRae not happy about that move. Edwards, though, now underneath Rondoletto. Rondoletto obviously not giving it on the high side as Sullivan gets loose. And, Sullivan gets tapped by Rondoletto. Austin Edwards sneaks through it all, and now that's Brandon Varney's problem to deal with.
Oh, man, that was an interesting exchange there. Austin Edwards managed to lap a couple of cars in that, actually 3 cars in that exchange, and managed to get clear of them quite a ways while they're still right behind him battling.
That's an absolute disaster right now, Doug, right there.
Yes, it is. This is about to get a little bit crazy back behind him as these guys are battling side by side, trying to get back up to the leader. They're 2 and 3 wide all the way around the track now.
And these guys are racing for positions in the middle of these lap cars. Oh my goodness, Marty goes to the low side. They are 3 wide with the lap cars in front of some of our leaders right now. The one of Art Hendren goes hard into the outside wall. Hope he's doing all right in there. Varney, though, clear track in front of him. Edwards clear track in front of him. Varney, he is having a hard time getting through this thicket of lap traffic now as he's going to try to pick his way through it. We have Jalbert, actually Tyler Jalbert's caught up to Varney, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. They're all on top of each other. Edwards with a pretty clean racetrack considering what track this is. He's scooting away right now a little bit. He's already lapped up to 16th position. Only 16 cars on the lead lap. And he's closing in quickly on about 12th through 16th. So pretty soon we're going to be down to about 10 cars on this lead lap here. We have a good battle going on, 8th through about 13th. All those cars are under a blanket right now. Really good stuff, led by John Schwartz in 8th and brought up the tally by 13th place. That's Greg Holes. Good racing going on. Doug, I was just thinking about it, though. You know what this track kind of reminds me of? And it won't make any sense because they're 2 completely different racetracks. But Bowman Gray Stadium, in a way. I know Bowman Gray is a completely flat football stadium, and it's, like, smaller than this track. But just the mayhem that ensues on both these tracks because of the product that the track's racing creates, it just reminds me of, in a sense.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, you have some tracks like this, like Bowman Gray, that just lend themselves to craziness. There's no other way to put it. And as this race goes on, as the leader continues to try and lap cars and the other leaders are trying to get through all this lap traffic like Brandon Varney's having to do right now, it's going to lend itself to a lot of craziness. Austin Edwards getting together with a lap car as he was trying to put him a lap down. That's the kind of thing we can expect to see all night. Just guys leaning on each other, not happy with what's going on around them.
Up front, we have a really good battle 2nd through 4th right now. Brandon Varney and Luke Turpin and Tyler Jalbert all doing the tango right now. Those 3 running right under a blanket, about 4.7 seconds behind Austin Edwards. These guys are still just in a mess of lap cars. They're having a hard time getting around the 52 of Travis Sukup, who's running a 19th right now, and it only gets harder from there. So Edwards, with some clean racetrack, really putting some distance between him and the competition. Pretty soon, though, he's catching right up now to the bumper of 16th place Kendrick Cryer. And actually, after he gets around these two lap cars, he has a little clean racetrack. But in a little bit, Doug, and I know it's crazy to think on lap 60 already this is becoming an issue, but he is not too far away from that giant gaggle of cars from 8th to 13th, all running under a blanket right now. And you know darn well, Doug, that those guys are not going to be giving way.
Oh, no, by no means. And we've seen Jonathan Schwartz in past races, him up there in 8th. We've seen him manage to hold a leader off for a long time. He'll give it everything he's got, and taking it to the limits of what the car, the tires, and everything else can do just to keep that car on the lead lap. And he'll pull it off, too.
So we have a good battle going on right now for 8th, Doug.
Indeed, John Schwartz up there. He's got Ryan Soper coming. He's got Chase Johnson right there in his new Hallinar ride, as Chase is starting to look down to the inside now.
Yeah, actually, Johnson has been underneath. I meant for 9th, excuse me. Pud doing a good job on the outside. He is fending these guys off. There's a car in the wall in front of him. That's a lap car, the 08 of Logan Jones. They're going to try to get around. Here we go. Johnson moves him up a little bit up the racetrack, and Johnson will now get underneath him here. Let's see if Chase Johnson can make it stick. Pud with the good run on the high side. They touch. Pud gets moved out of the groove, and Johnson will move up to 9th. Following him through for 10th is going to be Blake Wynn, and Pud will slide into 11th right in front of Mason Foster. So now sitting just outside the top 10 is that 84 D4 Motorsports car. Doug, actually kind of a sad story, though, for D4 Motorsports. That team is seriously lacking funding. Pud, that team is just, their money's going down the drain. He actually had to sell the two other cars they own, the 4 and I think it might have been the 85, or I don't know, they're at the 86, the 4 and the 86. They had to sell their two other cars to get money just to fund this car. And they actually had to sell all their extra cars. They don't have a backup car anymore. And the same car that they use on the super speedways like Michigan is green flag pit stop start. But to finish that thought, they use the same car on every track now. They now have one car for super speedways, road courses, and short tracks like this. So the fact that he was running up there in the top 10, that was really Norm Benning-esque there for Ryan Soper.
Yeah, a great run, and as you said, green flag stops underway. I'm surprised to see him this early. I'm guessing some of these guys that are pitting this early are trying to make some adjustments and get the advantage of fresher tires out there, but I was not expecting for at least another 10 to 15 laps. So that strategy might play out as well. They're going to lose a ton of laps on pit road. It's usually 1 or 2 at most tracks. This one's probably going to be 3 or 4.
Yeah, we saw our first high runner pit. That was 6th place Heathcote came down. I apologize, Jacob Heathcote. I almost called him Bruce Helmy with the old driver of the 25. As Tyler Jalbert gets into the outside wall, the 04 car running in 4th right now. He gives it a little kiss there on the outside. And then obviously Pud had pitted from 11th position as well. I believe a few more cars trickling in as pit stops. We must be in the window here because cars are starting to come down now. We have the 28 of Mike Stoddard in pit road. The 08 cars coming down now, the 03 of Marty Zaccalo is coming down the pits. A few other cars. None of the top runners quite yet, though, looking to commit. Now Alex Gangler coming in, and it does appear that we are in the pit window here, Doug.
Yeah, it looks like that. So we're looking at 65 to lap 75 on a tank of gas here and on tires. So Cup looks like we'll have about 4 to 5 stops here tonight, depending on their strategy. And the stop strategy obviously going to change things up as well as everybody starts to cycle through. That puts only 11 cars left on the lead lap. Once the leader pits, a few of them will get back around, but Austin Edwards is going to stay out, I guarantee you, as long as he can, and lap as many cars as he can, especially if he gets some clean track. But right now, he is right on the back of the 7, trying to put him a lap down.
Yes, he is, and that's been a good spirited fight there for Robert Colgan, but Colgan still fighting on the outside. He's trying not to go 2 laps down. Colgan recently celebrated a 32nd birthday, so happy birthday to you, Robert, out there. It does look like the 66 car will get around Colgan now, and he will assume the position. Looks like, I think we might have had another high-running car come down into the pits.
Looks like Brandon Varney has hit pit road. Tyler Jalbert, Jordan Babinger, all 3 just hit pit road. And it's worth noting, hitting pit road can also be literal. This pit road entry is so tricky coming off turn 2, the fastest part of the track, that it happens even to the best drivers out there. They can hit that pit wall if they don't get woed up enough, and that could end the night for some drivers.
Kenny Tripp also into the pits now, and now pretty much everyone except our top 7 runners have come down. And now Matthew Baer is going to pull off. He's coming down. Austin Edwards leads. Luke Turpin is in second. Third now is Chase Johnson. Moving up to fourth is going to be Blake Wynn, but Wynn's pulling off this time. John Schwartz. Looks like Schwartz thought about pulling down, but like you said, that tricky pit road entrance, he couldn't quite get the angle, and he had to stay out for another lap.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Schwartz, when he's been on the bottom, he's actually taken in turn 1, he's taken a really interesting angle, almost gets into trouble there as he comes to pit road finally. But
I think he was running out of fuel. I think he knew he had to make it down there that lap because that car's sputtering right now as it gets to pit road.
Yeah,
and he's out of fuel.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he started all the way up in 4th position, so he has to... Oh, that is killer for the 01 of John Schwartz. He has to limp that thing all the way up to that 4th pit stall. It's going to get there. He's not going to run out. And another thing here, Doug, is he gets to that pit stall. He has to make sure he doesn't overshoot it. Here we go. He comes towards the pit stall. Will Schwartz overshoot it? Oh, it's so close, but no, he hits it perfect. He gets it in there, and now they can fuel it up. Turpin's still out there, and Schwartz ran out on lap 80, so that's how we know they were getting close on it. Turpin, though, he's going to stay out another lap. He's going to make it to lap 83. It's so funny, Doug. We say it every single week, but Turpin, he always has that fuel mileage, whatever they do on the 454 car week in and week out, they have the fuel mileage figured out because he's going to stay out another lap. That car has to be the most fuel-efficient car in XCAL. Yeah, caution is out. Caution flies. The problem is, though, will Turpin have enough gas to make it back to the pits? But Turpin is the only car still out there on the track, and as Robert Colgan is going to be the only car 1 lap down. When this caution's over, Doug, it's probably just going to be Colgan and Turpin on the lead lap.
That is insane. Wow. What a change. Luke Turpin is definitely going to be the dominant car here tonight as he dives down to pit road now. It looked like Travis Sokup just ran out of fuel, and before he expected to, he had to make a sudden dive to pit road, and another car came up and just tagged him, and that's what brought the caution out. Luke Turpin, though, 83, 84 laps?
No, he made 80. He came down. He just crossed for 87. He's going to pit on lap 87, Doug.
Oh my gosh. So at 87 laps, I just went blank. It's about
Schwartz
4 stops.
Schwartz was running in 8th, and he ran out on lap 80, Doug. Somehow that 7 more laps of fuel in the 454 car.
One of these days, he's going to have to tell me what that team's fuel secret is, because that is truly impressive. That's truly impressive fuel mileage. I'd like to get that in some of my races. I'm going to have a talk with Turpin. That's, when he's going 5 laps further than anybody else, if he does that all night consistently, he'll be continuing to put everybody multiple laps down, and this thing could be over before it really gets started, at least for the win. Everybody's going to be racing for second at this point.
Yeah, well, some cautions would get these guys back on the lead lap, but we'll have to see how it all shakes out. So Turpin returns to the racing surface. And Doug, his teammate Greg Holes, Greg actually travels with the NASCAR, is it the Sprint Cups? What do they call NASCAR these days?
I don't know. It is the Sprint Cup. It's I think it's the Sprint Cup.
We'll call it the Winston Cup. We'll call it the Winston Cup. The NASCAR Winston Cup Tour. Greg Holes travels with it. Actually a Winston Cup champion, Martin Truex Jr. Greg is his engine tuner, so maybe he's taking some tips that he uses in that 19 car to make the street stocks on Rolling Thunder Racing a little bit more fuel efficient.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be doing something out there. I mean, that is just crazy, the extra mile. I mean, we see it week in and week out, but it's usually, all the tracks that XCAL runs on is half mile to mile, a couple of bigger ones, but it's half mile to mile, and it's always 1 to 2, maybe 3 laps, but we're talking 5 laps here tonight already that he has the advantage. And that also, his next stop will be even further out, and he'll be 10 laps ahead if they stay green. And I got to be honest, I'm surprised they stayed green this long. That's a testament to how good these drivers are.
And so we're shaking it up right now. We're trying to figure out who's going to be on what lap. There were two wave around cars. Brandon Varney and Austin Edwards were the two wave around cars. So when we get this thing restarted, it should be Turpin in the lead, and then Edwards in second, and third will be Varney. And those will be the only cars in the lead lap, Doug. The problem is they're going to start at the tail end, so even though they're on the lead lap, they're going to be at the tail end. And remember how quickly you can get lapped at this track, Doug.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, their fastest laps are right at 17 seconds. So this is, even being a half mile, this is not a slow track, even with these technical turns in 1 and 3. And yeah, it's not going to take Turpin long to get back to him. And we talked about the lap traffic situation having an impact here tonight. I would imagine that's when Luke Turpin gets back to those guys at the tail end of the lead lap, and that's when we start really seeing that lap traffic come into play.
All right, so here we go, looking to see how this is going to shake out. I'm not sure how this is going to shake out. Right now, Robert Colgan scored in second. I think whenever you have a caution in the middle of the pit cycle, Doug, it always leads to a lot of weird scoring stuff. Here's where we're at right now, though. And first is Luke Turpin, second's Robert Colgan, 1 lap down. Second through 11th are 1 lap down. In those positions are second Colgan, third Austin Edwards, fourth Brandon Varney, fifth Tyler Jalbert, sixth Ryan Soper, seventh Jacob Heathcote, eighth Matthew Bear, 9th John Schwartz, 10th Chase Johnson, and 11th Mason Foster. And I'll tell you what, all the time that John Schwartz lost running out of gas and having to make that evasive move to pit road, the fact that he's only 1 lap down right now and still in the top 10, very impressive recovery there from the 01 team.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to note Jacob Heathcote, he was one of the first cars to pit from the lead group, and he is still up there in 7th place. The rookie driver definitely being very smart here tonight. And another driver, I mentioned him earlier, he had a terrible end to a dominant race last week. Octavio Rondoletto, after pit stops, is now up to 13th.
He's 2 laps down. 12th through 18th are 2 laps down as we're green. 12th through 19th are 2 laps down. And then you have 20th through 25th are 3 laps down. And then you have 26th through 29th are 4 laps down, 30th is 5 laps down, 31st is 6 laps down, and 32nd and 33rd are 7 laps down. All 33 cars still on the track here as we approach lap 100. So we're green. Luke Turpin is just on the only car on the lead lap now in his own island. And now running in second in his second ever XCAL race right now is Robert Colgan, Doug. Colgan made his debut last week, ran respectively. I think he picked up about a 13th place finish at South Boston. This race, though, was running about 25th. He's the only car besides Turpin who didn't pit, so that car really hadn't been all that quick. But because of his fuel strategy, the 7 car currently sits in second as Austin Edwards catches right up to his bumper.
And Luke Turpin now in a mess. That's going to allow some of these guys, if they can get through some of this lap traffic better than Turpin, they might take advantage here, but Turpin dropping to the low side going into 3. This is very interesting. When they restarted, Luke Turpin's kind of right in the middle of the pack. He's on an island in first place, only car on the lead lap, but he is stuck in the middle of traffic, and anything could happen right in front of him and end that dominant performance. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Austin Edwards now being scored in second is just about a half a straightaway behind him, still a lap behind as well, but Austin Edwards closing that gap up just a little bit.
Yeah, he's in a 3-wide situation with some lap traffic. He's now up to second. Now trying to pick up third is Brandon Varney on the outside right now of the 7 of Colgan. He's in a 3-wide situation. Varney comes across the nose of the 16. Varney's going to spin. Let's see if this causes a caution. Varney saves it, and there will not be a caution. I saw Kenny Tripp get collected in that one, too. I also think I saw the 16 of Pat Sullivan, and the guys who all consider themselves pretty good friends there with a not-too-friendly moment.
Oh, no, that was definitely interesting. You got several cars that just by the nature of the way that corner is, they all ended up down on the inside wall. And, yeah, they all managed to keep it straight, keep going, keep it green, but all of them hit decently hard for the corner they were in on the left front. It does not look like Brandon Varney has any real significant damage to the left front, but it'll be interesting to see if that causes problems down the line. He does have a little bit of body damage, it looks like, but yeah, it's just going to be very interesting to watch, and that's the kind of thing Luke Turpin up there in the lead, that's the kind of thing he's really got to watch for as he comes up. He's got 2 lap cars, a little bit of a gap, and then he's going to have a whole mess in front of him again.
Yes, he is. He's coming up on the 84 of Ryan Soper and the 96 of Mason Foster. And those 2 cars, caution's out on the speedway, Doug. We have our second caution of the event here on lap 102, as it looks like, oh my goodness, I think we had a car on its roof in the grass. Travis Sukup out of the racetrack.
Yep, let's take a look and see what happened to Travis. He was the involved in the first caution as well. Looks like he got a little tap into turn 1 and then full yeet over the end over end. He got a tap going into turn 1, and then another one as he was trying to recover. He got another one that just turned him right into the wall.
A tough break there for him. As if you're watching this race right now, be sure to let us know in chat. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think Luke Turpin with this 1-lap advantage is going to get the benefit? Speaking of the benefit here, Doug, now we're going to have second, third, and fourth getting their lap back. They'll be back on the lead lap, and that's going to really shake things up here, Doug.
Oh, yeah. Once we have Austin Edwards and Robert Colgan, Brandon Varney back to the lead lap, obviously Luke Turpin faster than all of these guys, and he's got the fuel mileage advantage here as well. But, you know, if any of these guys come to pit road as well, that could give them a tire and a little bit more fuel advantage here. We'll have to see what the pit strategy is. Second caution of the night, and, you know, we're about almost a third of the way through the race already, so
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Doug, but I was just going to say that'll put 2 very fast cars back in the lead lap. Edwards was dominating the race, and Varney was probably the second fastest car. It's also going to put Colgan on the lead lap, Doug. And Colgan in that 7 car, this strategy, his fuel strategy took a car that was looking like it was going to finish in the mid-20s. Now he's going to be one of the 4 cars in the lead lap, so the worst he's going to be doing is 4th.
Yeah, and you know, he's not the fastest one out there. His best lap was a quarter of a second slower than Turpin's. So, and his fastest lap is actually one of the slower fast laps on the track right now. But just brilliant strategy from a newer guy in the league. He's making his way to the front and putting on a good show for the guys here tonight. So we'll see what he can do. He might be somebody to contend with as the season goes on.
Yeah, and that 7 car, man, it has had an up-and-down season. In our season opener at Charlotte, it finished 3rd with Jeff Edgar behind the wheel, its best run of the year. And it had some down weeks in between then and now, but last week it actually had a really good run with Mason Foster behind the wheel. Foster drove that car to a 9th place finish at South Boston last week, one of its best runs in a long time. And Colgan was in the 05 for Twisted Chassis this week. This week they put him in their marquee 7 car, and right now he's giving it a good run, sits in 3rd right now, one of 4 guys still on the lead lap. So a little bit of a shake-up here now. A couple guys choosing to pit and will go more laps down. We now have just 3 cars 1 lap down, Doug. That's just Tyler Jalbert, Chase Johnson, and John Schwartz. So those 3 cars all just 1 lap down. And then 8th through 16th, all 2 laps down, led by Octavio Rondoletto in 8th.
No surprise that Rondoletto actually went a couple of laps down last week and managed to recover. So we'll see. This is going to be a little bit trickier for him to recover here tonight. But as the pace truck drops off, we'll see what he can do.
All right, here we go. Luke Turpin leading the field around to the green flag. And here we come off the corner. Turpin, none of these cars around him are for position. These are all lap cars. Here we go. Green flag in the air. We're down and away. And actually, Octavio Rondoletto is starting in where the 3rd place car should start, Doug. Rondoletto needs to get up there and fight Turpin to get one of these laps back, Doug. That 77 car, this might not be for position, but Octavio knows getting around Luke Turpin will make his life a lot easier.
Yeah, and so far he is closing up really quickly to the back bumper of Luke Turpin. So I would imagine before this thing is all said and done, if we don't get a really quick caution, I would guess Octavio is going to get a lap back here he is definitely just as fast as the leader, and that has to concern Luke Turpin, looking behind him, seeing a car gaining on him that quickly, and he's got to
Oh,
decide.
caution! Huge pile up on the front straightaway. The front stretch is clogged completely. The 99 of Tyler McRae involved. The 66 of Austin Edwards got a small piece of it. Pat Sullivan's involved. Robert Colgan's involved. The 22 of Sean Patrick. The 06 of John Friley. The big one unfolds right where I said, Doug, that troublesome turn 3 on the exit.
And it looked like Patrick Sullivan is where it started at. He just got a tap coming through turn 3. We'll take another look at it, but he got pushed around as he came through turn 3 and getting on the straightaway, and then the next thing you know, he is backwards, and everybody, as he got sideways, just had nowhere to go. And it looked like we even had a car on the rail there for a moment.
I believe we did, and Doug, it didn't look to be that bad. Like, for how many cars were involved, it was a pretty slow-paced accident, you know what I mean? Like, everyone got into that one fairly slowly, so there wasn't a lot of heavy damage that really took place. What this is going to do, though, Doug, is it's going to put Chase Johnson, Tyler Jalbert, and John Schwartz back on the lead lap. Unfortunately for Octavio Rondoletto, he did not get around Luke Turpin as that caution came out so quickly. He will now be the first car laps down. He will be in 8th place, the first car any laps down, 2 laps down.
Yeah, and he is coming to pit road along with John Schwartz. Both of them on pit road, both of them kind of in the same position. So these guys will at least have a fuel and tire advantage here. Luke Turpin staying out, at least so far. He is not pitted in the last 2 cautions. Austin Edwards, Brandon Varney, both coming to pit road now as well. So all the lead lap cars except for the lead. No, Robert Colgan might be staying out.
Colgan might be staying out. That car has some nose damage, too. He's involved in the accident. I'd be kind of surprised if he did actually stay out. Well, let's see what happens here. Colgan still keeping that car out there on the racetrack. Looks like, yeah, Colgan is not going to be coming into the pits. So we will, kind of curious there, as Colgan, I thought, would want some fuel. But he is going to assume the lead then when we go green. So Colgan, after getting probably the worst of the accident, will be starting in first. We'll have to see who gets out of the pits first. Or actually, excuse me, Doug, it looks like Turpin did not come down the pits either. So Colgan and Turpin both did not come into the pits.
No, and, these pace laps definitely play into Luke Turpin's hand. Everybody else behind him pitting, though, as long as he keeps only, a half dozen or less cars on the lead lap. Right now, it looks like it's going to be about 5 cars on the lead lap. As long as he keeps just a few on the lead lap, he can continue to stretch that fuel mileage and not have to worry about what their pit strategy is. We've only seen 3 cautions so far, and they've all played into his hands for the most part. So he might be just making some of the smartest decisions in the world up front.
Yeah, we still got to get this one sorted out. We're not going to be going green for a couple laps, but when we do go green, this is how it's going to line up. Luke Turpin will be in first, second will be Robert Colgan, third will be Brandon Varney, and then fourth will be Austin Edwards. They'll be all starting up front. Then there will be 3 more cars in the lead lap. Chase Johnson, Tyler Jalbert, John Schwartz. They'll be starting at the tail of the field. The first 3 cars laps down are 8th, 9th, and 10th. Kendrick Pryor, Blake Wynn, and Mason Foster. All those cars 2 laps down.
And this, as we're seeing these big wrecks happen or any cautions happen, it shakes everything up. Luke Turpin gets everybody a lap down. A couple of quick cautions change the way this race looks.
All right, so here we go. This time, I don't believe we'll be going green, actually, this time. And it looks like we're going to have one more delay here. So we will be going green next time by. And it looks like the field is mostly sorted out now. We still have all the cars out there on the racetrack except Travis Sukup. Sukup is the first car to have significant damage. That car is in pit lane right now. So the 52 car, he's getting that thing fixed. We'll see if Sukup get back out there, as he is the one car currently not running. So we're going to go back up to the front of the field with the 454 of Luke Turpin, where this time by we're looking to take the green flag. Let's see if Edwards has that same speed he had early on, and let's see if he can make his way through this traffic. He did earlier in the race. He got by Turpin earlier in the race. Let's see if he can do it one more time. Here we go. Pace truck pulls off. Luke Turpin to the inside. Outside, Robert Colgan in the Sunoco number 7 machine. They bring it around that bendy turn number 3. Turpin waits for the restart box. He's in it. Green flag waves, and he is on the gun. Green flag in the air. We're down and away. Turpin to the point. Battle is on for second. To the inside goes Varney. He's trying to get around Colgan. Varney will get around Colgan. Now the battle's on for third. Edwards will take third away from Colgan. Colgan will have to deal with 4th. As still a good run for the 7th car. Now let's see if Varney can start to close the gap on Turpin. And something I want to see, Doug, because Varney didn't start up near the front of the field. He started 7th, but he never got to race with Edwards when Edwards pulled away early. Let's see how the 2 and 66 look when they're running in the same zip code as one another. Let's see if Edwards can get around Varney like he got around Turpin earlier.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be interesting. These three are always up at the front together, and they're used to racing each other hard, but very cleanly. So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys, while they have some clean airs, it looks like Jeff Edgar has crashed. While these guys have some clean air, we'll see if they can, who's the fastest. This might sort out how things go, but Luke Turpin definitely has an advantage when it comes to fuel mileage.
In 7th place, John Schwartz got a black flag on the restart, so he has to come into the pits. Tough break there for the Schwartz 01 team. After that, some good fortune go their way. Some more bad fortune they're going to have to overcome here. So Turpin continues to lead. The battle for second is very tight right now. Edwards right up the tailpipes of Varney. Edwards trying to make a move here. He peeked to the inside. There was just nothing doing there that time. Here we go. Looks like Turpin's going to come around the flag stand, so Schwartz will end up 2 laps down at the end of that black flag. An unfortunate break there for the 01 of John Schwartz, as he's had a rough couple of weeks. Needed one to go his way this week. Here we go. Side-by-side racing for second. 66 car of Edwards. He gets to the inside. 66 of Edwards going to take the position away from Varney. Varney now will slide into 3rd spot. It looks like the 01 of Schwartz now leaves pit road. He went 3 laps down in that whole debacle. But Edwards gets back out there. He is up to second again. Varney will slip back to 3rd. And those are the cars currently racing for position. As we have another car making its way through the field. Up to 5th right now is Tyler Jalbert. That car is busting through lap traffic right now, trying to catch up to the same zip code as the leaders.
Yeah, he is definitely coming to the front. And I have to give a mention really quickly, if you're interested in XCAL, go to xcalracing.com. I know we've had the last couple of weeks some guys interested in joining, so that is where to go find your information. And the 04, he started in 6th. He ended up going back quite a ways, but now, as you mentioned, he's recovered up to 5th. Robert Culkin, though, still, he's got a little bit of space between him and Tyler Jalbert, but having picked up 25 spots so far this race, not having the fastest car out there, but his lap times are actually starting to come down a little bit now.
So he is, like you said, lap time's coming down. Sorry, I was just taking a peek on some of these other battles going down a little bit deeper in the field. We have a couple guys laps down racing for position right now. Ryan Soper in a really good battle right now for 10th with Jacob Heathcote. Heathcote to the inside of Pud. Heathcote trying to get back in the top 10 in his XCAL debut. But Pud on that outside continuing a stellar run for the D4 Motorsports team. And one thing that I've really liked about Pud all night long is, that's a terrible sentence to have X at your mouth, as he has been keeping that car on the high side. I've seen him side by side pretty much this whole race. He's just not letting guys get the best of him. He's using the momentum on the high side to his advantage. And once again, here he pinches Heathcote down. The 84 of Pud, he gets a good run there.
Yeah, and, with Pud, we know he was very fast when we were at Phoenix the first half of the race. And Phoenix, while not a triangle, has a lot of similarities, at least as far as how you have to attack the corners and the different angles at each end of the track. And he definitely was very strong there. So this could be another good night. He's had a rough couple of races, and he definitely needs a good finish here tonight. But right now, he's going to fall back a couple of positions.
If you believe in Pud, make sure you put in the Twitch chat or YouTube chat, Facebook chat, wherever you may be watching, make sure you put down there hashtag I'm sticking with Pud. Up front, battle for the lead taking place. Edwards right up to the bumper now, that 454 of Luke Turpin. Turpin, he is doing a nice job fending him off. He's using that high side kind of like Pud is to cut the corner off for the guy behind him. As there's a car in the wall in front of Turpin. That's Art Hendren. Let's see how the leaders are going to approach this. Hendren gets low and out of the way. Nice heads-up driving there by the one of Art Hendren. Hendren currently 32nd right now, 11 laps down. It's been a long night for the one car. One thing that's kind of surprising me here, Doug, Turpin and Edwards, they're pulling away from Brandon Varney, and I really thought Varney was on the same level as Edwards, if not better than Turpin. That doesn't appear to be the case right now. That 2 car does not seem to be getting better as the race goes along, as Turpin's looking to put the 48 of Jordan Babinger another lap down.
Yeah, and Turpin, he got involved in one of those incidents earlier, but it was very light damage. And based on the way he's driving, I think he made an adjustment on one of these pit stops, and it might have been the wrong way. He does have some right side body damage as he's coming around the 15 there, but I just don't think the car is handling as good as it was earlier. I do think earlier in the race he could run with Austin and Luke Turpin, but right now, whatever adjustments, whatever changes, whatever he's done is definitely affecting the handling not the way he wants.
On another unscheduled pit stop for the 01 of John Schwartz. Don't know what the issue is this time, but the 01 car is in the pits. He came down unscheduled. Just a bad night so far for that 01 team. They had a little bit of good luck there, but things is continuing to go bad there for a guy who's running up top 5 in points.
Yeah.
Luke Turpin. Oh,
sorry, I was just going to say, yeah, him and Art Hendren both having rough nights. Obviously, John Schwartz running up there in the top 5 in the points, but Art Hendren, he was starting to climb in recent weeks in the points, 1 or 2 spots, not huge climbs, but he was having some good races. And tonight, it just looks like he is really struggling with that car to get around. He is now back in 32nd, and John Schwartz is going to come out at least 31st. So both of these guys having some great runs in recent weeks, but not tonight.
It's just unfortunate, too, because the Schwartz team, they were hoping to get back in the points battle. They were the points leader only a few weeks ago, Doug, but then he had a motor blow on lap number 2 of the road course. Completely unexpected, the motor blew. Just a bad motor must have been in the car. And then last week, he got disqualified for an incident involving his own teammate, yours truly. And just now this week, more issues for the 01. And, you know, championships aren't won during stretches, but you can certainly look back to stretches where you had some bad races and see where you might have lost a championship. And this 3-race skid for John Schwartz is heavy lap traffic for the leaders. Luke Turpin got into the 28 there, Mike Stoddard. And Luke Turpin's just going to let Austin Edwards go deal with the lap traffic, it looks like.
Yeah, there was an incident going through turn 3 a couple laps ago right in front of the leaders, and it looked like Luke Turpin just said, you know what, I'm going to back off. You can get through and be the pick. I'll follow you through all this traffic as they are about to come up on an even bigger pack of traffic. They've got a little bit of a gap here, but not for long, and they're too wide racing right in front of them, so things are going to get a little bit crazy right in front of them. Smart move by Luke Turpin. He knows he can stretch the fuel mileage. He knows he can stretch everything a lot longer, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, so Turpin just lets him go. Edwards now assumes the lead again. He's led the most laps in this race, and he is going to lead some more here. Officially taking it behind the wall was John Schwartz. I hate to keep giving updates about a car that's running in the 30s right now, but that car is the second car after Travis Sukup to officially take it behind the wall, so he's going to finish 32nd tonight. Another finish in the 30s, third straight week for the 01 team. And I'll be curious to see how they respond next week at Lanier, because that team, they cannot afford another bad week. And just one last thought about this whole thing, Doug. Before this 3-race stretch of all 30th or worst place finishes, Schwartz had finished no worse than 16th the whole season before that.
Yeah, he had some great runs, and a couple of times he was up there battling for podium finishes, but this last few races has just gone downhill for him, and everybody he's racing around in the points is not having any struggles. So his biggest hope right now is that he can turn things around coming into next week. His team can get things figured out, and some of these other guys start to stumble a little bit.
Yeah, he was the winner at Phoenix earlier this season, but right now, DNF. Up front, Luke Turpin continues to run in second behind Austin Edwards, leading this race. We have 3 cars up there battling for positions. We go 3 wide with some lap traffic. Brandon Varney takes it 3 wide on Jeff Edgar and Alex Gangler. He will get around Edgar, not around Gangler. Gangler is going to try to fight him off here for a little bit. But the 2-car of Varney, he's the last car running up front. There's 3 more cars in the lead lap. Tyler Jalbert just got up to 4th. He got around Robert Colgan, but these guys are 13 seconds behind our leaders. Colgan's in 5th, and in 6th, the last car on the lead lap is Chase Johnson, as Chase Johnson having a pretty good run in his iRacing team debut right now in that 57 car, although I'm sure he wishes he could restart near the leaders and see what he really has. Here we go, battle on for 5th, to the inside. The Chase Johnson machine goes of Colgan. The 57 is going to try to take that position away from Robert Colgan, and looks like the 57 will end up picking 5th on Robert Colgan. And now here's where the strategy really truly will benefit Colgan, is he's not giving up easily, but I think the 57 probably will take the spot away, and he does now. For Colgan here, Doug, he's in 6th, but he has a 2-lap head start on all the other cars behind him. He was running in the mid-20s before he did this strategy. Now he's in 6th, and as long as he doesn't get involved in an incident, and if this race goes green for a while, he'll likely sit in 6th, if not for a mistake.
Yeah, and he, like we mentioned earlier, not the fastest one out there, but his lap times have been dropping, and it looks like the track might be cooling off because everybody's lap times are starting to drop, but he is getting a little bit faster as time goes on, and like you said, he's got 2 laps on the 7th place car of Kendrick Cryer, so he has no reason to really push that car to its limits here. He could even play a little strategy, roll out of it a little bit early, save a little bit of fuel, maybe stretch it. His strategy's been great so far, and 3 cautions in 150 laps. These guys are having a great race. Saving fuel and strategy might be the key here tonight.
We'll have to see if how Colgan's strategy continues to benefit him as the night goes along, but so far, so good for that 7 car. Here's the rest of your top 10 runners. 2 laps down, 7th place, Kendrick Cryer, 8th place, Mason Foster, 9th place, Blake Wynn, and now up to 10th, Octavio Rondoletto. He pitted a lot of those guys that we were just talking about did not under the last caution. Rondoletto back into the top 10. The 77 car trying to get some redemption after a brutal win taken out of his hands last week at South Boston. So Colgan is in 6th, looking to see if we got any battling really going on. It looks like Turpin has put a little bit of distance between him and Brandon Varney for 2nd and 3rd, so Turpin does hold that spot pretty carefree right now, not really challenged too much. Looking to see Edwards, how the lap traffic situation is going for him, and really for Edwards, no lap traffic to speak of. He's coming up pretty quickly here on the 22 and the 03. And actually, he will be coming up pretty soon on the 7 car of Colgan, so he'll be looking to put Colgan the first lap down for the 7 car. But actually, that means the 66, as he goes around his teammate Johnny B, he's going to start getting up now to Colgan, Johnson, and Jalbert. He's going to be looking to put 4th through 6th the lap down.
Yeah, and we're coming down to the halfway point of this race, and it is worth noting that Luke Turpin now in 2nd. He's pitted on lap 81. He is not, I believe it was lap 87. And he's not pitted since. So he's, with the caution laps, he'll be able to extend it further. But within the next 20 to 30 laps, he's going to have to stop. And if everybody else behind him, everybody else on the track pitted under one of those cautions. So that could shake things up front again as well. This is definitely not the race I was expecting tonight. With all the frustration coming in tonight, I was expecting a lot more cautions, a lot more guys leaning on each other, and it's truly impressive how great these guys are doing out
here. So Edwards now gets around the lap car of Marty Zakala. He puts Zakala 4 laps down. Zakala running 15th right now, 4 laps down. That's just how quickly it's happening here at Concord. Now he's going to try to work on the 84 of Ryan Soper, just 2 laps down and 13th right now. Still a really good run right now for that D4 entry. As Edwards, though, looking to put him another lap down. And then you have Colgan, and you said Turpin was the only car that hasn't pitted. I think Colgan also hasn't pitted. I'm pretty sure the 7 car's been on the Luke Turpin strategy through and through tonight. And it looks like he is about to go a lap down. And it's kind of funny, Doug, that the car we keep talking about with fuel strategy, Turpin and Colgan, Colgan's car is actually the Sunoco car, so maybe Sunoco gave him a little bigger fuel tank for this race.
It could very well be. In fact, a lot of these guys up at the front, Varney's been out there for 91 laps, so he's been out there the longest at this point of those leaders. Jailbert's been out there for 90. Turpin's been out there for 81, Colgan for 80, and
Johnson pits.
Yeah, Johnson's been out there for 87, so we're about to see these front runners hit some green flag stops.
Yeah, Chase Johnson just pit from 5th position. That car is coming down. He's the first of the leaders to enter the pits. Now Brandon Varney dives into the pits. Varney is going to make it in there successfully, so Varney comes down pit road. Edwards going to keep the car out there. Let's see now when the rest of these guys are going to come down. As the first green flag pit stops were pretty spread out too. These ones I think will be a little bit spread out. Hand out the window now for the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. Looks like the 3rd place runner to Jalbert's going to be bringing it down the pits this time as the 04 drops off the speedway, so Jalbert comes down. We have not seen Colgan pit from 5th yet, and neither of the top 2 runners have made the hard dive down. Now, this is where it'll get interesting, Doug. Octavio Rondoletto in 7th position right now. We know he pitted on that last caution. That 77 car can probably go further than anyone else right now. So in a night where the strategy really hasn't rolled his way so far, he's on a different strategy now, and we'll have to see if it's going to be the winning one.
Yeah, Octavio picked up some laps last week and regained the lead lap and got to the lead based on strategy. So he definitely, with that pitting on that last caution, that gave him a bit of an advantage over these leaders. And if he can get really lucky and Turpin and Edwards hit pit road in the right time, he gets a cautioning before he has to pit, that could change everything up again. There's so many different things that could happen here at this point in the race as we close in on halfway that it could change the whole complexion of the race.
So now we're kind of just waiting on the top 3. Those are the guys that we know still have to pit, and those are the guys we're like keeping an eye on because we know some of these guys can go a little bit further. Your mileage may vary tonight. The next guy that I think we'll expect to see pit will be the 66 car of Austin Edwards. I think Edwards is probably next due to come in, and let's see.
Actually, no, he pitted on that caution 60 laps ago, so he can go longer than him. And Foster, Wynn, Bear, Heathcote, all pitted, and Rondoletto. So all of them have pitted more recently than Turpin, Colgan, and yeah, those 2 guys. So, yep, several different pit strategies here.
Oh, Big 10-4 there. So that means that Turpin or Colgan are probably the next expected car to come to the pits, one of those 2, as Colgan keeps the car out there. Him and Turpin, they have their own fuel cells tonight. I'm telling you, those 2 cars, they can extend it way further than everyone else, because all the other cars that pitted on the same lap as Turpin and Colgan have pretty much hit the pits at this point. It's just that 454 car and 7 car. Turpin's in some pretty heavy lap traffic right now. Let's see if he comes down this time by. He will not. Now, keeping an eye on the battle for 4th, too. Mason Foster's in 4th, but here we go. Octavio Rondoletto gets to his inside, and Rondoletto battling for 4th position right now with Mason Foster. Rondoletto in the 77 car will take that spot away. Rondoletto is going to move up to 4th. Foster gives him a little tap. Rondoletto don't care. He is the first car 2 laps down.
Yeah, and they've got the 2 car right there side by side. He's already been to pit road as well. He's just going to come flying back by. And now with the different, it's not just a fuel strategy game as it gets really dicey coming off 3 again. It's not just a fuel strategy game here. It's a tire strategy as well. We're seeing some of these guys that have pitted being way faster here than the guys that are on old tires. And as the track temperature comes down, that's going to play a factor here as well.
Yes, Tyler Jalbert's just ripping through traffic right now as Luke Turpin and Robert Colgan continue to stay out, though. Trying to see how far these 2 cars can really stretch out these fuel cells right now. They've done an impressive job pretty much this whole race. Matthew Baer gets to the inside now, Colgan, as there's good side-by-side racing action going on right there. I want to give a quick shout out to some of our sponsors here at XCAL Racing. I want to give a quick shout out to Butt Kicker. Check out thebuttkicker.com. Be sure to use code XCAL20 for 20% off all purchases on the Butt Kicker website. K2 Sauces, the official sauce of XCAL Racing. The only sauce you'll ever need, as Robert Colgan's going to pull it into the pits this time. Luke Turpin does stay out. We also want to give a shout out to Sim Racer Coin, first and 15. www.xcalracing.com/webshop or /shop, not /webshop. Don't get me wrong on that one. And of course, all our other great partners at XCAL Racing that we are so happy to be affiliated with here at XCAL. So Colgan comes into the pits. Now Turpin should be the next car we expect to come down. At this point, Doug, I think we're going to have a somber few moments in this race. So what better time than now to give a Butt Kicker commercial?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, my friend, to How to Suck at iRacing. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and we are live here from the Concord Speedway, where one car currently runs on the lead lap. Austin Edwards, he's your leader. Pitch strategy, among with a lot of other things here from the Concord Speedway, have led to this big advantage here for our leader, as Luke Turpin's going to get back out there and join the fray now. So Edwards out in front, he is the leader. Now,
He's
as
on
he's
pit
going to come
road
to the
now.
pits, actually. Yep, the 66 car does dive down. And what that means is now the lead is going to cycle through to Octavio Rondoletto in 2 laps. If he makes it around 2 more laps, he'll be the leader. Blake Wynn will be in 2nd, and those will be and Jeremy Leto in 6th. Those will be the last 3 cars on that strategy, although Leto has Varney and Turpin cycled out in front of him.
And yeah, this strategy is really starting to play out for Rondoletto. He's picked up spots just about every caution except the last one. He's been picking them up on track as well, but that last caution he went ahead and stopped, dropped back quite a few positions, but fresh tires and a full tank of fuel has him getting to the lead here momentarily. And it's worth noting he started in 33rd and now is about to take the lead. He just took the lead. So 33rd to 1st. Hopefully tonight he does not have the connection issues he had last week at South Boston, and he can stay out there and get the win. Now, to pull it off at this point, he is going to have to get a caution at some point. With him not pitting, that puts 4 cars on the lead lap: Octavio Rondoletto, Austin Edwards, Brandon Varney, and Luke Turpin. And yeah, if he continues to come around and they get the right timed caution, he's played everything perfectly, and he's going to be in the catbird seat for the second half of the race.
I tell you what, Doug, I'd like to see a caution right now, because that would give us Rondoletto, Edwards, Varney, and Turpin on the lead lap, and that would be a great battle. That would be fantastic, and I'd be perfectly fine with having those 3 guys on the lead lap.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen those 3 guys this season up front battling it out side by side? It is always a great show. They always race each other clean, but man, you see how hard they will push it when they are racing each other. They know they're all in the top 5 in points. They know they've got to push it to the limit, and they're all extremely respectful, but nobody is going to race each other harder than those 3 will.
No, they most certainly will not. So these guys passed the halfway point now in the Don't Be Jelly 375. We're quickly approaching lap 200. Octavio Rondoletto leads. He was one of the last few cars to come into the pits. Also yet to pit, I believe, Tyler McRae. And that's it. As caution's out! Octavio got the caution. He rolled the dice, and they played out nice for number 77, Doug.
That is a miracle. Trying to see what happened to bring this one out. Looks like something involving Greg Holes. Let me see if I can find what happened in one of our cameras here. Looks like Greg Holes tried to get to pit road, and the 25, the rookie, got into him, and Greg Holes got to pit road, but not the way he wanted to. He came down pit road upside down.
Yeah, and that's you have to throw the caution XCAL for that. He was blocking the pit road entrance. That's an immediate caution XCAL. They consider that unsafe conditions. So that brought out the yellow flag here as the 61 cars in the pits. But I can't believe how well that just worked out for Octavio Rondoletto, Doug. The 77 car now back onto the lead lap, back into the fray. And after having to claw for everything all night long, that 77 car, he's going to be right in the thick of it.
You know, I was thinking about this last week at South Boston. If Rondoletto ever gets to where he can qualify, because we always see him, he qualifies about 15th to 20th. If he ever gets to where he can qualify in the top 5, there will be nobody that can touch him. He's always clawing his way through the field. He always makes it through all the traffic, and yeah, it's he could be the dominant force in a race if he qualified in the top 5. I'd be scared if I was another driver. I'd be scared that he would qualify on the pole one night.
He did one race, Irwindale Inner, and he ran away with that thing for a while before I think he got a bad caution that trapped him laps down. But Rondoletto, it always seems like he's fighting against something in every single race. He never really has a race just go swimmingly for him, but he consistently finishes well. He actually has a finish on 3 wheels this season, Doug. I can't remember if How to Suck at iRacing was our partner for the race at Texas or not. I think
yes,
that was one of our first races. Yes, we were. Okay, and Octavio actually finished that race in 10th on 3 3 wheels. So, you know, he's just, he's always out there fighting against the odds.
You know, it was that whole race was the first race with the new damage model, and it had some glitches, and there was looking back now, it's hilarity, but a lot of frustration, and you know, we almost had our first red flag that night as well. It was just it was really difficult, and the fact that he was one of those that got caught by one of those bugs ended up with Darrell Waltrip singing the Loose Wheel song to him, and yet he still manages a 10th place finish. Just shows he can come back from just about anything.
So, Rondo, here's going to be the cars in the lead lap. First will be Austin Edwards, second will be Luke Turpin, third will be Brandon Varney, fourth will be Octavio Rondoletto, fifth getting the wave around is going to be Chase Johnson, sixth getting the wave around is Tyler Jalbert, and then seventh, or excuse me,
it's Tyler and Tyler. Tyler McRae is sixth. Looks like Jalbert's going to be
so Tyler McRae also got the wave around, so did Robert Colgan. And so Colgan and McRae also both are going to be on the lead lap. There will be 8 cars on the lead lap. And Robert Colgan's night of just sneakily being in the top 10 through sheer luck and strategy continues.
One of those situations you'd rather be lucky than good, as it looks like we're going to go one more lap. Yeah, he is definitely having only his second week in XCAL, having a great run. So congratulations to him for being able to hang on to that and staying up towards the front here. And, you know, a shout out to the 25 car as well. He's had up and down kind of night in that new ride, but definitely starting to work his way back to the front as well.
He actually got pinned with the black flag for causing that caution, too, so he's going to have to serve that, which is going to be tough for him. You know, usually in your XCAL debut, though, things don't go all that well. Although last week we saw Aiden Murray finish second in his XCAL debut just out of absolutely nowhere. But usually in these XCAL races, when it's your first race, these aren't easy races to finish very high in.
No, it's really not. The level of competition, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week, but the top 4 drivers have oval I ratings of 2,300 and up, with Octavio Rondoletto being a 5,500. So the top 10, everybody is above 17, 1,800, most of them in the 2,000s. So these guys, they are not easy to get around. Even if you've been here a while, getting to the front is a truly impressive feat with some of these guys.
No, and you have guys in this field too, like Mike Stoddard, who have 7,800 I ratings, and it just sprinkled in the field at all levels of this field. You have different numbers of the I ratings. So here we go. We're coming around turn 3, going green this time by. Edwards at the point, Turpin on his outside, third Varney, fourth Rondoletto. Green flag in the air, we're down and away, and Edwards with the good jump there, and Edwards takes the point. Battle is on for third, although Turpin drives it deep in the corner. He tries to get to the outside of Edwards. He can't. He'll slip in the hole for second. Varney's going to slip up to third. Rondoletto's going to slip into fourth, and the 4 cars that we wanted to see dueled out now, running the line in the front of the field, Doug.
Chase Johnson is in 5th currently, but way back mired. He's got a ton of lap cars in front of him. His first week in this new ride in the Halinar car, he is definitely doing a great job, but if he can get clear, he's had a pretty fast car all night. I think he can get up there and battle with these guys as well. But you're definitely right. I am extremely excited to see what these 4 can do with 170 laps left to go. And it's worth noting, as we pass the halfway mark, we are missing our Higgins the XCAL Superfan. If you've seen him, make sure you let us know. Drop a comment or let one of the admins know, or tweet out hashtag Where's Higgins. Let us know, because we miss Higgins. And I still have my Higgins lure out, but it's been ineffective.
So I got a report from a source close to Higgins, and who spotted the Derek Chauvin trial, and all they said was Higgins has something to do related to the results from the Derek Chauvin trial. I don't know what that means. Don't take that for what you will. We're probably getting canceled for this one. But that's all we know about Higgins. So if you see him out there trying to do something that most of society is probably going to frown upon, make sure you try to stop him and return him to us.
Yeah, definitely. We also heard he was in Mexico and trying to go to Germany for Beer Fest, which I think he would probably win there, to be honest.
Yeah, Rafael better watch out. Rafael Semprich, a guy that runs XCAL, not on the shorter tracks. He shows up for road courses and big tracks. The 25 car stopped on the speedway. Car stopped, that's Jacob Heathcote, and that car, he's going to bring it quickly into the pits. and now the 25 is in his pit stall, and they're working on that car. And Heathcote, after running in the top 10 most of the night, he gets the black flag, he gets involved in the caution, and now his car breaks down. And from a stellar XCAL debut, quickly becoming one he's probably going to want to forget.
Yeah, I just noticed he had actually been on pit road serving that penalty, and when he came off pit road, as he started to get on the gas, I think he might have missed a shift or downshifted, made a mistake in the gearbox, because the whole back end of that car just went wide, like the 2 car did just there, and the back end of the car went wide, and then he just suddenly stopped. So I think he might be having transmission trouble, and I'm guessing his night is over. As Octavio Rondoletto gets by Brandon Varney, Varney way loose coming through 3 last time by.
Yeah, Varney hangs on, though. Varney with the momentum on the high side. He fights back. Varney's hanging on to the spot, and Heathcote does officially take that car behind the fence. They're done with a shattered gearbox, they're calling it. Tough way to end your XCAL debut, but focusing on this battle for second, Varney, he's going to fight off Rondoletto, and Varney will hang on. And one thing I'm noticing right now, Doug, I think Octavio is the second fastest car in this field. I think he has the second place car. But this is one of them weeks. Some weeks, like when this great rivalry between Luke Turpin and Austin Edwards is formed, some weeks Luke might be a little bit better than Edwards, but usually there's weeks where they're pretty even in racing for the win. And sometimes Austin is just a good bit better than everyone else. And I don't know if you're picking up what I'm trying to say, as sorry, we saw a slow car on the track. But pretty much what I'm saying is there's weeks where Turpin is slightly better, but there's also weeks where Edwards is just significantly better than everyone else. This feels like one of those weeks. This feels like one of those weeks where the 66 car just really figured it out, and he's kind of in his own zip code.
Yeah, it really is. But looking at the lap times, Austin Edwards and Brandon Varney's fastest laps are identical. Octavio's not that far off. Luke Turpin is about 1/10 of a second off of those 3 guys. So Austin Edwards definitely the fastest one out there, at least at the moment. And it almost seems like at times Austin Edwards is holding back a little bit in the 66. He's just not... You see him, he could make passes much easier. He takes it very, very easy. And that might be a strategy play. Of course, you got to get the car to the end to be able to win.
Yeah, they say half of the race is finishing it, and there is a lot of truth in it, especially tonight at a tricky triangle like this. So the battle for second continues to wear on. Barney under heavy duress right now from Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto just really looking for any sort of a gap he can get on that 2 car. And the problem is, Doug, you want the low side. You know, the low side is definitely where you want to make that move, try to make the pass for position. It's just the car on the high side, once they get up there, they carry the momentum and they're really hard to pass. But you also can't just drive it to the high side, because it's hard to just get the car to stick up on the high side trying to initiate a pass. So really the only way to complete a pass here is to kind of door someone up the racetrack.
Yeah, and these guys at the front, none of them are known for are really moving a car unless it's the last 10 laps. I don't think any of these guys would door somebody to get them by. You never know, though. This the way this race has gone with only a few cars on the lead lap, it might change things here tonight. As it looked like the 2 car scraped the wall down the front straightaway.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a scrape there, as right now, here we go, the 2 car goes down in turn number 3. Rondoletto right on his bumper as they come through turn 3, and on exit, Rondoletto gets a little bit closer to the bumper of that number 2 machine, but is not able to quite draw it even with him at the moment. Edwards out to about a 2.8 second advantage on these guys. The 66 car pulling away a little bit right now, as it had stabilized for a moment, but now it's the gap's starting to grow once again in favor of our leader, Austin Edwards. He's going to be finding himself in a little bit of lap traffic here in a moment. On the racetrack, we still have 30 cars out there running, still 30 of the 33 that took the green flag running. Behind the fence is John Schwartz, Travis Sukup, and Jacob Heathcote. Those 3 cars done for the afternoon. Also, multiple laps down, 33 laps down, and 31st is Tyler Batchelder. That car a little bit wounded. It's been a long night for the 53 team. So we look back out in the field, looking for some battles maybe with some cars laps down right now. That would be, I would like to see that. Kenny Tripp is battling right now, but that's not for position. And it looks like everyone's pretty spread out for position. Really the best battle for position is that battle for second.
Yeah, these guys are continuing to battle each other, and right in front of them.
Right in front of them.
And that was very, very dangerous for those two cars on the lead lap, racing for the top podium positions here. And to have two cars spin in front of them, both of them did an excellent job of checking up and not getting into each other. That was an impressive save by both of those drivers. And now they've got to, I guarantee these guys are glad they wore the brown pants today after that moment.
Yeah, no doubt. That was definitely a oh crap moment there for these drivers. As up front, Edwards leads now by 4.2 seconds after that little bit of a gaggle that went down. That gave him a little bit more of a cushion on those guys. They'll have to check up for that. And Varney now got a little bit of a cushion between him and Rondoletto. He now has about a half second between him and the 77 car. So some probably needed breathing room for all of these guys. After a few hectic moments and caution is out on the speedway, we have our 5th caution of the night with 150 to go.
Looks like Trevor Birchmeyer was involved. Let's see if we can see what happened here. As he gets down, he was underneath Pud in turn 3 and just drifted up mid-corner. Him and Pud both go up into the wall, but he ends up backwards in turn 1. A lot of beating and banging there. It looks like he probably is okay. I know Pud did not get much damage in that, but we'll see how much the 21 got.
I'll be curious to see if Race Control calls that on Pud, because he's currently running up in 12th place right now, 3 laps down, a really good run for this team. A black flag could completely ruin a much-needed great effort for the 84 team. The 84 car also having a really good incident race, only 8 incidents. He's looking at maybe making some money in this race if he doesn't get a black flag, which for that team, making money is a huge thing. It might not seem like that big of an issue, but it is.
And Pud was on the outside. The 21 just came up into him. It looked like the 21 just developed a push, trying to take the track position there. And yeah, that I can't see that one being called on Pud, but you know, time will tell.
Time will tell. I didn't get to see it, Doug, unfortunately. It kind of glitched out for me. But we'll be curious to see how they call that one. As well, 3 wave around cars. Robert Colgan 1 lap down. He's going to get back on the lead lap again. Colgan is Colgan's been riding these wave rounds all night long. He's been loving it. Also get back just to being on the lead lap will be Tyler McRae. McRae in 7th. He will be getting a wave around. And then in 9th place, Kendrick Cryer 2 laps down. He'll be getting 1 of his 2 laps back, so he'll be getting closer to getting back on that lead lap.
And Luke Turpin is now going to move up into 2nd. Chase Johnson, new ride this week, up into 1st. And an interesting development. I don't know if you noticed that, but just a moment ago, Octavio Rondoletto had a couple of blinks.
Oh no, Doug. Hopefully we're not seeing a Sobo repeat, you know.
I know, that was such a heartbreaker last week. He had such a dominant car at South Boston, and it looks like it's steadied out, but he had 3 or 4 good blinks there for a second and had me a little bit worried. He's been so close to getting the win from Turpin, from Edwards, a couple of different times this season, and just bad luck.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The thing is, blinks for him, it's not a huge concern yet because he almost always, blinks or have something like that happen. And we'll just have to see how it ends up playing out. And one thing that I want to talk about here a little bit, Doug, that I feel like we don't talk about a lot, is on iRacing, you have the option to have a real spotter. And a few of these guys do have real spotters. Octavio, one of them, his teammate that runs some of the races on the bigger tracks, Gregorio Emiliano Dorso, he has joined the session as his spotter. And Austin Edwards, the only other driver in the race with a real sponsor. Chris Johnson, who was scheduled to start on pole but couldn't due to a scoring error, he has jumped up in the spotter stand for Edwards.
Yeah, that and I can tell you that there's ways to do it where you don't have the iRacing spotter or your crew chief spotter, and then there's ways to do it where you can. And having both of those systems in place, having a real life sponsor and having another sponsor or another spotter in place via the system, that is probably one of the greatest things in the world. I did the 24 hours of Daytona, and having both in place makes a huge difference for you, and definitely an advantage for some of these guys, because you can listen to the iRacing spotter tell you, somebody's inside, outside, things like that, but a real life spotter tells you who's coming and who you're gaining on and a lot of other useful information.
Well, In honor of DMX's passing and Ryan Soper being a huge DMX fan, as we all know here on the channel, if you're currently watching this live stream right now and you have hands, please write in chat just to make sure we know you have hands. Put hashtag where the putt at with spelled DA, where the putt at. And that way we'll know you have hands if you put that in chat. All right, here we come around to turn 3. We're going to be going green this time by Chase Johnson, the only car that didn't pit. He'll be starting from the point. We come around turns 3 and 4. Johnson with Turpin behind him. Green flag in the air. Johnson rip tater chip right out of the gate. He gets a big gap. He goes to the top spot. Battle on for second between Rondoletto and Turpin.
Yeah, and Turpin was, after he had actually lost some ground to Rondoletto in that last run, and when that incident came out where Varney and Rondoletto had to check up, he gained right back to the back bumper of it. Looked like he was going to take advantage of it, but he manages to get around, and now he's right to the back bumper of Chase Johnson. Using that high line through 2, you carry so much speed through 2 because it's the only point on the track where you're really not having to worry about it. You can go full throttle and you carry the most speed down into turn 3. He's going to try and take advantage of that here.
Yes, there is. And so here we go. The battle's on for third now. Edwards to the inside of Rondoletto. He is trying to take that away. Rondoletto is going to get past. Edwards takes the spot. Rondoletto looking for the crossover. It's just not there. No momentum. And Edwards now back up to third. Oh, that Johnson car is not that quick in the lead. And he pinches Luke Turpin. He pinches him. He's going to spin. He hangs on to it. Edwards with an incredible save just getting out of the way of that. I don't know what Johnson was doing there. Turpin got to his inside, and Johnson just acted like he wasn't.
Yeah, that was a little bit crazy, and right at the front of the pack to have an incident like that, almost very dangerous for a couple of cars right behind him. That allowed this lead pack of about 4 or 5 cars had broken away, but now you've got 3 or 4 more back up in here as Tyler McRae is caught back up as well, and everybody kind of gathered it up in a single file, at least for the moment, but things are about to get very busy up here now.
Yes, they are. It's getting closer to go time, you know. We're getting down to closer and closer to 100 laps to go. The intensity's rising. We have now 7 cars in the lead lap. That's the most we've had on the lead lap since pretty much the beginning of this race, due to a trend we've seen of more cautions recently than we saw earlier in this race. And I feel like we probably haven't seen our last one yet either. As here we go, the battle for the lead's heating up. To the inside goes the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. He's looking to take that position away from Luke Turpin. Nothing there. Remember what I said earlier, it's hard to make that pass on the low side. Another thing interesting here, Doug, the 04 of Tyler Jalbert, whenever the 66 car had to check up for Chase Johnson, Jalbert got around Edwards. And Tyler Jalbert is probably one of the most frustrating guys to pass in all of iRacing. For Edwards now, a huge task getting around that 04 car.
And yeah, this is going to be one heck of a battle. They're going to, Jalbert is just, he's driving in his mirror because every time he comes around, his line changes just a little bit. And I do believe he's trying to run the exact same line that Austin Edwards is. He's going to try and keep Austin behind him as long as he can. And as Brandon Varney starts looking to the low side right in front of him, he's going to try and take advantage of that as well. If he can slip through, he's trying to do both, block and pass, and it could end up very, very good or very, very badly, but he's going for it here. And we talked
So right now, here we go. Edwards gets to the inside now of Jalbert. He sticks the nose in there. Jalbert tried to cut it off. Doesn't matter. Jalbert has the high side. Jalbert has the momentum. Jalbert might think he's clear. Let's see if Jalbert really cuts him off here. He won't, but Jalbert, he has that line off the corner. Let's see if he can carry the speed. Jalbert does carry the speed down towards turn 1, but he just doesn't have the room to quite clear the 66. Jalbert still with the preferred line on the high side. Jalbert carries momentum. Here's the one corner where the 66 can really make ground on the inside. They're dead even going into turn 3. Can Jalbert carry it off the corner? No, he got tight. Jalbert does not get a good run, and if he doesn't recover well into turn 1, this will not go his way. He really tries to pinch the 66 car down there. 66 car drives him up the racetrack. A great battle going on right now for 5th position, and the Austin Edwards 66 machine is all but clear. Jalbert needs a good corner. He gets it. Jalbert with a heck of a run off the corner. He gets the momentum right back to him. They are dead even as they go down into 1. They are even off the corner. Jalbert carries momentum. The 66 66 car, though, with the edge there in 2. Jalbert, once again, going to need a stellar 3 if he wants to keep this battle interesting. He pinches the 66 car down there, not letting the 66 clear him. The 04 car continues to battle on. If I was Jalbert, I might think about a little crossover and bump and run here, and that might be exactly what he's thinking about doing. He keeps it pinned to the outside, though. He's not letting the 66 get clear. They touch a little bit on corner entrance there, and that's going to move the 04 up the racetrack, and the 66 takes the position away. Unfortunately for Jalbert, he's a little bit too far away to really do anything, or is he, as Jalbert drove it deep into that corner. But I promise you this much, if Jalbert does get another chance in the 66 car, there's probably a good chance he's going to return the favor for that one.
Yo, definitely. And you got to give a shout out to Jalbert. He had a heck of a run there because he was keeping him pinched down, and every time the 66 moved up, he didn't give him a lot of room, but he made sure to give enough room that he himself didn't get in trouble. He didn't get doored or anything. And both of them did a great job of racing side by side all the way around the track. And now Varney is right to the back bumper of second place Octavio Rondoletto. I think we're about to see another battle up here. And Luke Turpin watching all this in his mirror as he starts to lap some cars here again. He's loving seeing all this side-by-side battling back behind him.
Yes, he is. And I do want to give a shout out real quick to Tyler Jalbert, by the way, just because we call him the weapon. He's kind of, caution out on the speedway. We'll go back to that thought as we have our 6th caution of the evening, as it looks like maybe something involving the 99 of Tyler no, I think it was in front of Tyler. I see a little tire smoke. Not sure where it happened, Doug.
Taking a quick look, it looked like Heather Patrick came to pit road suddenly, looking to see if maybe it was that car as he came around. I am not sure what happened to bring this caution out. That's looking at a couple of passes that occurred right before the caution just to see if anything. Oh, the 81, and trying to see who that is. The 16, I do believe. The 81 and the 16 got together coming off turn 3. The 16 was briefly on 2 wheels, and heavy damage to both of those cars.
Octavio Rondoletto looks like he's the only leader that's going to come into the pits. Everyone else is staying out. I do want to go back to the thought I was having about Tyler Jalbert, though, before that caution came out. And my thought was this with Jalbert, is that Tyler Jalbert, I think he's probably the XCAL's most underrated driver, I would say. And here's why. We call him the weapon. He's kind of known for being dirty. He does a lot of aggressive moves. He doesn't always finish well. But the 04 car is almost never slow. He's almost always qualifying near the front of the field. That car almost always has speed, and when it doesn't finish well, it's usually just because Tyler did something that was just unnecessary and kind of boneheaded. But when it comes to driving a race car, and we're talking about speed and the ability to really wheel a car and the ability to drive a race car, Tyler Jalbert's probably one of the best in XCAL. It's just for the style he races and the kind of notoriety that he has. He doesn't get the respect that I feel like he's due, which in a sense, it's almost like the Dale Earnhardt type thing. I'm not saying he's Dale Earnhardt, he's not that good, but he kind of has that black hat thing about him. You know, everyone loves to hate him.
Yeah, he's definitely one we're always talking about. Early in the race, he disappears a lot of the times in the middle of the race, but towards the end of the race, he suddenly magically reappears. So he is always one we are talking about, and he's showing why here tonight, because he is back up there in 4th. And as you mentioned, he started in 6th. He is up to 4th, and he had dropped back a little bit outside the top 10 briefly, but he came back as we get later in the race. He starts making his way back to the front.
As we start to have more and more cautions late in this thing, we are now going to have 9 cars back on the lead lap. Robert Colgan in 8th. Once again, Doug, a caution comes out, and Robert Colgan gets a wave around to get back on the lead lap. He's going to be up to 8th. And for the first time tonight, being on the lead lap since the initial start of this race, Matthew Bear, 9th place, looks like he should end up back on the lead lap too. Just 1 lap down, 10th will be Mason Foster, and then 11th on back, or all 3 laps down plus.
Yeah, so it's going to take a lot to get anybody outside of the top 10 up back onto the lead lap battling for this thing. And if we see a lot of racing like we did early on, where these guys are racing and keeping it green, this thing could go with even more cars going back a lap down.
So we'll have to see how it shakes out here as we're coming close to 100 laps to go here, and we're going to be taking the green flag in the Don't Be Jelly 375 live from the Concord Motorsports Park, as I guess that's what they call it. It's funny, Doug, I'm reading the top of the screen, the iRacing official listed name is the Concord Motorsports Park, but the logo says Concord Speedway. Which one is it, iRacing? You can't have it both ways, and I want answers.
Well, it's also listed elsewhere as Concord Raceway. I discovered
there's a real conspiracy theory going on. It's the same people that took Higgins, probably.
It's a triangle. It could be the Illuminati.
Doug, really getting into the conspiracy theories here. We're going to save that for some fireball later on. Luke Turpin at the point. We're going green this time by. Pace truck off. Turpin on the gas. Green flag in the air. We're down and away. And Turpin jumps to the point. And now Brandon Varney will slide into second. Third's going to be Tyler Jalbert. Fourth, Octavio Rondoletto. Currently running in fifth is Austin Edwards, and in sixth place we have Chase Johnson. Seventh, Robert Colgan. Only 7 cars in the lead lap. Not sure what happened to the other cars that got the waiver round, but they're all still trapped 1 lap down, so they are non-factors. Turpin, though, out in front, and another tight restart. This time, though, we have 5 cars in the mix with Johnson and Jalbert involved this time.
And Colgan is still in the lead lap, but it's a just barely kind of situation for him. He is way back there, but the way things have been falling, he's probably going to stay on the lead lap most of the night just by sheer luck and good timing, good strategy. And, hey, gets him a top 10 finish if he can keep it up. So great job by him. Meanwhile, the front 6 cars all right there.
Oh, we have a wreck. We have a wreck. The one car goes around Art Hendren. That's a pile up in turn 3. That looks like a bigger wreck.
Yeah, Art Hendren, they were 3 wide. Art drifted up in the middle of turn 2, which is unusual. Couldn't get the car really settled. He hits the wall coming out of turn 3 and ends up coming all the way across the track. Looks like the 20 car, the 12, and I cannot tell, it looks like the 99 car as well, all involved in that incident.
Now what that will do is that will put Mason Foster, Matthew Bear, and Tyler McRae back onto the lead lap. So those 3 quickly will get their laps back. And this caution comes out just short of 100 laps to go. The end of this race could have some cautions, Doug. And from what we're seeing from the fuel window, if you're like Luke Turpin at this point, you could probably make it on gas if this race has 3 more cautions after this. Coming into the pits has to be tempting.
Yeah, most of the leaders did. Robert Colgan, the only one to stay out again, as Turpin is going to come to pit road. So it now is going to be just Robert Colgan. If he stays out, he is not looking like he's going to come to pit road here. So he could be the one that stays out. Octavio Rondoletto has already been in and coming back out, and he will line up behind the 7 car on the restart.
Wow, that is going to be interesting. So we'll see, once again, Robert Colgan, he is going to be restarting from the point. This will be he will be in the lead when the cell cycles through. And these will be the first laps led in his XCAL racing career as in a second career start. Robert Colgan in that 7 car. They've been playing the strategy game all night long. We've been covering it because it's been very intriguing. And he's going to stay out here late in the going. He knows it's a one-stop race for him pretty much at this point. And if you're Robert Colgan here, you're kind of gambling that this race is going to go green to the end by staying out, I think. And I know that seems crazy with the way the racing's been and the way everything's unfolded. The thing is, though, Doug, Colgan, he's pretty much nailed it all night long in every bold call he's made. If I was a betting man, I might bet this race might go green to the end because I think that's what Colgan has to be betting on here by staying out.
Yeah, definitely. And, he's going to have everybody packed back up, but they're going to be in this, if these guys at the tail end of the lead lap don't get waved around, he's going to have a bunch of lap cars to contend with in front of him. So he's going to have an opportunity to use them as a pick and maybe advance his position or at least keep the other lead lap cars single file behind him. That's going to play into his hand as well. And like you said, he can make it on one more stop from here. Everybody else is right on the fence. They need cautions to make it work from here. This strategy might be the smartest strategy in the world. He knows he has to stay out a little bit longer to make that one stop, whereas everybody else has already come in.
And the thing, too, here with Colgan is I don't think it's going to be a race-winning strategy because these guys are probably going to pass him pretty quickly anyways. But this could turn what's looking like it's probably going to be a top 10 finish into maybe a top 5. He might be able to get a top 5 out of today, or who knows, maybe it will fall his way and he'll find victory lane. We will have to see, as we're going to have 9 cars on the lead lap when we get this one back underway. Mason Foster now in 8th on the lead lap. 9th place Matthew Bear also back into the lead lap competition. So a few more cars getting back into the mix here. As this time by, we will not be going green. I believe we delayed it one more time. Let's see if the pace truck pulls off. It won't. The lights stay on. Pace truck will stay out. So still one more lap till we go green. As actually this time by, when we cross the start finish line, there's going to be 100 to go. So when we go green, there will be 99 to go. What better time than now to do our snapmobile.shop 99 to go run through? So we're going to look at some of the snapmobile.shop cars. As the highest running one right now is currently 10th place, Tyler McRae in the 99 machine. The next best running one's 13th, 48 of Jordan Babinger. Then we have in 19th, the 28 of Mike Stoddard, 20th, the 22 of Heather Patrick, 23rd, the 21 of Trevor Birchmere, down in 30 or 29 is going to be Art Hendren, and those are the snapmobile.shop cars. Whenever you go to snapmobile.shop, be sure to use code McCrae99 to get a discount. Here we go, green flag in the air. Colgan gets on the gas. Colgan with a pretty decent jump for his first XCAL restart from the lead, and immediately though Octavio Rondoletto is going to jump to the outside, and the 77, like a hungry lion, he's going to eat the 7 alive.
Yeah, and this Rondoletto, he's definitely playing the strategy game. He stopped. He was the first one to stop as soon as the pits opened. He's got 4 fresh tires and fuel, but that 7 car is not giving up on the inside. Robert Colgan is trying to hold on to that lead, and that's definitely going to shake things up at the front because now they're getting too wide back behind him. As long as he can stay right there beside the 77, but Rondoletto looks like he's going to clear him this time, but that slower car on older tires is going to hold up some of these other guys. So if nothing else, Rondoletto just is taking advantage, and the 7 bobbled there.
Yeah, but he still has the highlight momentum, and he's going to carry that momentum and stay in front of Varney. I'll tell you what, for being a new guy and being on old tires, he is not giving up right now. He is fighting these guys. I like the fight in Colgan. Colgan, now the 2 car will get to his inside. Varney will take 3rd away. Jalbert also gets to the inside. Jalbert looking to take 4th. It's hard to make that pass on the inside off 3 as Colgan gets into Jalbert a little bit. Jalbert on the inside. Now let's see if he returns the door. He won't. He must assume it was accidental. Jalbert now is going to move up to 4th off the corner. Who did? Tough break there for Hendren, currently in P29. I believe our last running car. Battle on for the lead. Octavio Rondoletto and Austin Edwards, they are all over each other right now. The 77 just looking for a little bit of breathing room between him and the 66 of Austin Edwards. Edwards, though, not giving it to him. And now these two with a pretty decent advantage over the rest of the field. As, like I said earlier, we have 10 cars on the lead lap. Tyler McRae, the last car on the lead lap, looks like he must have got a late waiver out. But a lot of great battling going on all around the speedway right now, but none better than the battle for this top spot between the guy that started 33rd and the guy that started 3rd.
Yeah, and it definitely shows the difference in strategy there, and the difference in the drivers is we've seen Austin Edwards up at the front, full send all night long. Octavio's just been patiently working his way to the front and using fuel strategy and tire strategy and pit strategy. He's using all of it to get up there, and now he's leading, and this is not an unusual sight to see with Rondoletto and Edwards at the front. Luke Turpin's not far behind in 5th place. Little bit of a gap now, though, between 2nd place Austin Edwards, 3rd place Brandon Varney as they go off into turn number 1. And it looks like there's smoke. Somebody is smoking on the back straightaway. Looks like whoever it was got to pit road, but some cars really starting to show some wear out here tonight.
Yeah, that is certainly a factor as Edwards, like you said, takes the point. Rondoletto in 2nd now as he's going to be mired behind the 66 car. And I think Edwards probably going to take the money and run here. He's been fast all night long. He's been a little bit quicker than the competition. First time he's had a race with Rondoletto, but he was able to get around Rondoletto. And now this kind of comes down to strategy. Because remember, Doug, if this thing doesn't go green to the end, everyone should have to pit. I don't think Luke Turpin could save that much gas, but it certainly could be interesting.
Yeah, there's really no way that these guys could save that much. I mean, Turpin, Edwards made it the most. Edwards made it 81, Turpin made it 87 laps, and they restarted with about 100 to go. They're going to have to either have caution laps or pit at some point. And the smart move would be wait till about 50 to go and hit the pits if this thing stays green. However, I just don't see it staying green at this point in the race. It's there's been too much going on and too many guys trying to work their way back up. A lot of battles going on all over the track. So I don't know if this thing could stay green that long, especially the longer tire runs with this tricky track. It definitely eats the tires.
Oh, here we go. Now getting to the inside is the 77 of Rondoletto. He gets to the inside of the lap car, Johnny B. If you're watching this broadcast right now, let us know by putting in chat, hashtag Johnny B started second, swag. Up front, it is still leading this race. Austin Edwards, he is at the point. Second place, Octavio Rondoletto. He's just trying to catch back up, but it's not happening right now. Rondoletto, more worried about the cars behind him. Third place, Brandon Varney. Also, fourth place right now, Tyler Jalbert. And I think worth noting, Doug, fifth place, Luke Turpin. That car is running slower than it had been all night long. He hadn't been running behind Jalbert and Varney for most of the night. Now he is. And that car is running a little bit slower than I'm used to seeing it running. I almost want to say I think he's saving gas.
Yeah, you got to think that he's doing something out there because he's not running. His lap times aren't as fast as what they have been. His last time by was 1/10 of a second slower than his fastest lap. He's still putting in some decent laps, but definitely not as fast as he has been throughout the race. So I think you might be right. And we know he can stretch the fuel mileage. If he can get an extra about 12 laps out of it, he might be able to make it work. He's got enough time to try and bank that fuel, but he's going to have to be really, really careful about it. And looking back up front, Austin Edwards is now getting into lap traffic again. So that could change the complexion of everything. He has opened up a little bit of a gap on Rondoletto, about 1.3 seconds now.
Yeah, that is quite a decent gap there. Certainly some breathing room for Edwards now. As the battle for third, fourth, and fifth starting to heat up. Tyler Jalbert took away third from Brandon Varney. He's moved up one spot. Varney's in fourth now with Luke Turpin not too far behind. The 454 car as this race starts to wear on. He's starting to add a little bit of pressure now. Maybe he figured out I can't save this much fuel, and he started pressing the gas down all the way again, so it looks like he has caught up to those mainly asphalt cars pretty quickly here. As Luke Turpin continuing another nice race. Pretty much Turpin's been in the top 5 the entire race. I can't remember a time in this race when he wasn't running up there somewhere near the top 5.
And we've got a crash going. Blake, looks like Blake Wynn, Jeff Edgar were involved in an incident coming off turn 3 right in front of a big gaggle of cars. Everybody keeps it straight, but I'm guessing the 81 is going to be on pit road before long, and the 05, both of them involved.
Yeah, they both involved. I also saw Pat Sullivan get a piece of that. He must have, because that car was pretty destroyed. And just a tough break there for a couple of these guys who, were having decent runs. And Blake Wynn is in the pits right now. The 81 came down. That is really tough. He was running up in 12th position when he had to pit. And what that does is now that moves Putt up to 13th. And now Jeremy Leto's up to 14th. Those are two guys, two very small operations that struggle just to get the car qualified every week. They're having great runs right now in 13th and 14th. The 84 and 17 teams have to be smiling ear to ear.
Yep, both of them just a couple of laps down. They're not that far out of it. And as you mentioned earlier, if Putt can keep it up in the 13th spot, he can come home in the money tonight. So he is definitely pushing for everything he is worth. He's kept that car mostly clean all night, not been involved in too many incidents. Does have a little bit of front end damage, but overall his car is in pretty good shape. Him and Leto also are on their own lap at this point. Everybody else behind him, at least one or more laps behind him, so definitely got a little bit of a buffer. These guys can take it fairly easy.
Looking for good battles going on right now. The best one you're going to find is Luke Turpin versus Brandon Varney for 4th. Those two all over each other right now, as we have 70 laps to go here.
Art Hendren got into Jose Godino coming out of turn 3. No caution as they both spun around and managed to get him going again. Art Hendren.
Oh, caution!
There it is.
And caution's out as Godino's car is still wrecked on the front stretch. No, someone else gets into it late. That's the one car of Art Hendren again. Did Hendren somehow wreck twice in that incident?
I'm watching it again now because he spun, got it going straight again, and let's watch Godino and see if he comes back around and gets back into him. That was definitely an odd situation that they, if he did get back into him, and it makes you question a couple of things here. But Godino, let's see what happened here. Godino gets back across the track, trying to get it straightened out. And, oh no, Art Hendren managed to clear everything, but let's take a look at that. After he cleared the 20 car who was trying to get everything righted, it looked like another car trying to clear just came down on him. And that spun him around again. So twice under caution, or twice in that incident, Art Hendren got caught, and he has had a rough night. But that also, this caution means everybody can go the distance now.
And we're looking at incident point leaders. We kind of followed it at the road course. Might as well give an update here. This is actually, there's not a lot of guys with a ton of incident points, which might be surprising. But the leader right now is Tyler Batchelder with 36. Tyler Batchelder having a pretty rough night. He's running in 29th right now, the second to last car running on the racetrack. The next highest is Art Hendren with 28. And then third place is Mike Stoddard with 26. So actually, all guys we saw involved in that last caution. And then guys that are having a really good night, Doug, we have 3 cars right now with 0 incident points. Luke Turpin, Chase Johnson, and get this, Tyler Jalbert, 0x with 60 laps to go in that 04 car, the guy we talk about being the aggressor.
The weapon as a 0x. That's impressive. And you got to wonder if his team owner's like, dude, you're going to have to take it down about 20% there, bud. And he definitely is. He's backing off of it. He's being really smart here tonight. Not as aggressive as we're used to seeing, but driving a little bit smarter, and it's got him up in the 3rd place. So definitely going to be a good night for him. And who knows, being up in the top 3, 60 laps to go, we might see that chrome horn come into play, but as smart as he's been driving, he may not need it.
All right, so we have 3 wave rounds happening here. You could probably already know one of them. Robert Colgan, he got his lap back, and he is back onto the lead lap now. Tyler McRae got his lap back. He is back on the lead lap. And Kendrick Cryer got a 1 wave around. He went from 3 laps down to 2 laps down. And those were the 3 wave rounds here in this caution, as we're going to be restarting just about 60 laps to go.
And it looks like, according to scoring right now, Octavio Rondoletto is going to restart up front with Luke Turpin. Looks like Luke Turpin's going to be in the lead. Rondoletto now showing in 2nd. Tyler Jalbert 3rd. Austin Edwards 4th. Varney is 5th. Johnson is 6th. Great run for him in a new car this week. Mason Foster now in 7th. Matt Bear in 8th. Haven't talked about either one of them very much tonight, but here they are up in the top 10. And, of course, Robert Colgan in 9th. Just great strategy tonight. Not the fastest car out there, but definitely one of the better strategies.
No doubt about it. So the lights will stand on the pace truck. We're going to do another pace lap. But it's Turpin in the top spot, Rondoletto in 2nd, like you said. I want to talk about, too, Mason Foster in 7th. He actually signed a contract to race with K2 Motorsports, that 96 car, for the rest of the season. So Foster, picking up, or excuse me, not K2 Motorsports, so that car was actually sold. And nonetheless, though, the 96 car that's been signed over to Mason Foster for the rest of the season, Foster will be driving that car. As we're excited to see what Foster can do in a full-time ride. As last week, driving a backup for Jeff Edgar, he brought the 7 car home in 9th. Right now, looking for another top 10 Foster. Having a few good runs. Here we go, going green this time by. Luke Turpin has the field at tow. He'll be in the top spot. Just about 60 laps to go. Green flag in the air. Turpin's down and away as we are in the waning moments of the Don't Be Jelly 375. And Rondoletto on the high side. He is going to try to keep the car outside of Turpin. Turpin slams the doors shut, and Rondoletto will slide into 2nd. Jalbert now in 3rd. And that 0x is going to be tested as he's going to have a mirror full of Austin Edwards.
Yeah, he really is. And, you know, Luke Turpin definitely threw a massive block on the 77 there on the restart. Definitely paid off for him, and it's a benefit to Jailbert as well, as it allows Jailbert to stay right there with him and the potential to become the weapon as the 77 drops to the inside. Austin Edwards drops to the inside, so now we're 2 wide for first and third, and very close coming through turn 2 for the lead.
Yeah, we were tight. Jailbert on the high side. Remember, last time he raced side by side with the 66, there was some contact. It was a great battle. Let's see if they keep it clean this time. The 66 of Edwards, he's to the inside. Tyler Jailbert carries that momentum on the high side. They go down into turns 3 and 4. Problem for Jailbert right now is the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto is kind of just blocking off the line he wants to run. And right now, the 66 of Edwards on the inside. He is making some headway. And for the 04 of Tyler Jailbert, this is kind of going to be his last stance down into turn number 3. He has to make it stick here, or it's just not going to stick. Here we go down in the corner. Jailbert on the high side, it doesn't stick. Edwards is going to clear him. Now Varney gets to the inside of Jailbert. That's the battle for 4th place now, as Jailbert will try to ride that high side. And here's the story now, though. The 66 is clear. He has to pick off Rondoletto and Luke Turpin. There is just 55 laps to go in this race. Edwards, clearly the fastest car all night long. Rondoletto, maybe the second fastest. But all these cars pitted. They're good on gas to go to the end here, Doug. And, Edwards has gotten around Rondoletto and Turpin.
The 2 is sideways coming off, too. Long.
But this is going to be different here, Doug.
Yeah, and the 2 car was sideways coming off of turn 2. Sorry, that looked like we almost had an incident. Chase Johnson, Mason Foster right there behind him. Last time through, he picks a higher line this time, but man, that was a little bit crazy. Almost got another caution out of this deal. And as you mentioned, Turpin, Rondoletto, Edwards, all very close speed-wise and very close just nose to tail all the way around the track. These guys got to hope for one of the other ones to either bobble in the next 50 laps, or they're going to have to use the horn to get around them. It's about to get a little bit crazy as the 77 looks to the inside now.
77 looks to the inside. He will be not successful. Turpin keeps his foot on the gas. Here they go down into turn number 2. Turpin's going to keep the lead. Small update. There was a battle for 9th between Robert Colgan and Tyler McRae. Ended in an accident. McRae ended up on his lid. He had to get towed to the pits. McRae now 3 laps down. Colgan's car is heavily damaged in 9th. Battle still up out front. 4 cars all under a blanket right now, and a 5th one closing in, and Brandon Varney. 5 men set to settle the score. Here we go. Edwards gets to the inside of Rondoletto. Edwards sees a hole, and he goes for it, this time by the flag stand. 50 laps to go from the Concord Motorsports Park Speedway Raceway. On that high side, the 77 car continues to try to get that side draft, but Edwards has been so strong all night long. He's really the one car I've seen on that low side, Doug, be able to do that. Just he gets that car to eat off the corner and clear guys. I haven't seen anyone else able to do that. It's Jailbert now. He says, you know what? Screw a 0X. It's time to use the bumper. He gives the 77 a shove.
Yep, 50 laps to go. He's time, and he gets way down low on the apron there. Jailbert is definitely pushing it, but it's going to give Varney the opportunity to the high side. And you're absolutely right about Edwards. It looks like he set that car up to run that low line and get the grip up off the turn because everybody...
Oh, him and Turpin make contact. Turpin gets loose. He's a wheelman, so he won't wreck it. And Turpin gets into Jailbert. Turpin goes around. Caution will come out. No, there's no caution yet. Luke Turpin's car. Did everyone get around that car? Yeah, he got straightened out. Caution won't fly. But Turpin and Edwards make contact. Turpin saved it, and then him and Jailbert got into it. Now caution is out.
It looked like Heather Patrick might have been involved in that as well when he gets it straightened out. We're taking a look at the replay now. There was a very close call there for a lot of guys managed to get around it, and it looks like Turpin has some heavy damage. No, it looked like coming through turn 1 he might have had some heavy damage to the left front, but he does not. It's a little bit banged in, but pretty insignificant, and it does look like Heather Patrick. Now we'll have to take a look and see what happened to him, but he was in the outside wall in turn 3, and he got turned. Couldn't tell who that was by, but he just got car drove up into him, and the 22 ended up backwards in the outside wall in turn 3. I'm guessing that one is what brought the caution.
And that was just craziness that happened there. And I want to catch a word with Superman Luke Turpin there. That was a pretty crazy moment. And we're trying to tune into the radio right now of the driver of the 454. Luke, it's Petey and Doug up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Luke, really good racing going on there between you and Edwards, side by side for the lead. Then a little contact there in turn 3. Tell us what happened there.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't know what happened. I was just I thought I was holding my line. I raced with Octavio really good. I don't know what was different. I mean, Peter, you're up there looking at it. Give me your point of view.
I did not get to review that one that much. That just looked like really close racing between you two, to be honest with you.
Taking another look at it, you guys dive off into 3. It looks like he came up a little, you came down a little at the same time at the same place. And just one of those racing deals, but you caught the short end of the stick on that one.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised about that. I usually don't get the luck nowadays, you know.
All right. Well, Luke, looks like you're going to be starting towards the tail end of the lead lap. That's still going to be good for about 7th. Do you think you have enough time to get back up there and maybe salvage a podium out of this thing?
Probably not. This thing's junk now. I got hit like 3 or 4 times. It's torn up, but you never know. Never count Superman out.
All right, 10-4. Well, Luke, we look forward to watching you try to make your way back through the field. Best of luck.
Thanks, bud.
All right, that's Luke Turpin, driver of the 454, as he's going to try to negotiate his way back through the pack. Restarting in about 7th, says the car is junk, but it's Luke. You never know. Here's how they're going to restart. First place is going to be Austin Edwards. Second is going to be Octavio Rondoletto. Third, Tyler Jalbert. Fourth, Brandon Varney. Fifth is going to be Chase Johnson. Sixth, having a really good night, just coming out of nowhere here late, Mason Foster in his debut in that 96 car, his new full-time ride. Seventh will be Luke Turpin. Eighth, having just a staple night in a second career XCAL race, will be Robert Colgan. Ninth, Matthew Bear, a guy who's always quietly in that top 10 at the end of the race. And 10th, 1 lap down, will be Kendrick Cryers. He's almost come back from 4 laps down. 11th, 2 laps down, will be Jordan Babinger. And 12th, 3 laps down is Tyler McRae.
And don't forget, Jeremy Leto and Ryan Soper still back there kind of in their own little bubble right now. Both of them having a pretty decent run here tonight.
They most certainly are. Very respectful nights for both of them, as those cars have stayed out of trouble for the most part, and they are running in the top 15. Here we go, looking to go green this time by Edwards on the low side, Rondoletto on the high side. If Rondoletto has any shot at this thing, he has to get him on the jump here. Here they come to the restart zone, and the green flag's in the air. We're down and away. Decent restart on the outside for Rondoletto. Can't complain about that. Edwards, though, does that car eat off the corner? It does. He is all but clear of Rondoletto, and he is clear of Rondoletto. However, Rondoletto will clear Jalbert. He'll slide into second. Jalbert says, nah, I don't know about that. He drives it deep into the corner. He gets into the door of the 77. It's time for the weapon to show his arsenal. Here they come down into turn 1, and Jalbert on the inside. He is trying to battle with the 77 of Rondoletto. The door was used as a weapon in turn 3 last time. This time the weapon's just clear. He moves up to second.
And Mason Foster there on the outside picked up a couple spots on the restart on the high side. He is right to the back bumper of Rondoletto as Rondoletto trying to work past Varney here. And meanwhile, while these guys are all battling too wide, Austin Edwards has managed to take off. Tyler Jalbert finally gets clear, has no traffic beside him or in front of him. But the question is going to be, does he have enough time to close that gap? Edwards has opened up over a second on him already, and it'll be interesting to see if Jalbert can get there. And as we said, if Jalbert can get there, he'll probably use the weapon, but there's just no telling, as Rondoletto's right back to the back bumper now.
I think Rondoletto's faster, but Varney's all over Rondoletto. Rondoletto now on the high side with Varney to the inside. Varney gets it into the corner. Let's see if Varney will use the door. He will not, but he drives the 77 high and exit. Also, Mason Foster, he just moved up to 5th. He passed Chase Johnson. Now he's peeking to the inside of Rondoletto. Rondoletto is cleared by Varney, so Rondoletto is going to be back to 4th. Rondoletto not happy about that one at all. Let's see how that goes down into turn 3. Foster now all over the back bumper of Brandon Varney here, and Mason Foster late in this race as now Johnson gets to his inside, though. Foster's been the story here late in the going. That 96 car is really flexing some muscle here late.
Yeah, and it looks like Tyler McRae just had an incident. We'll take a quick look at it as these guys continue to battle up at the front. Tyler McRae going off into turn 1. and it looks like he just got tapped in the back, hit the inside wall. It's a miracle this thing stayed green as he collects a couple other cars along the way, but he manages to get it turned around and get it straightened away. Back up front, though, these guys are still nose to tail all over each other for those top spots.
Update on the incidents, too. Jalbert has gotten a 4X. The only incident-free race right now is 6th place Chase Johnson. Everyone else has had incidents. As Luke Turpin had no incidents either, he obviously was involved in the last caution. So, Jalbert now in his own zip code in second. He kind of pulled away a little bit. He's not quite as fast as Edwards, but he's fast enough to be solely in second. Good battle for 4th right now. So here we go. Foster looking to the inside of Rondoletto. I'll tell you what, Doug, I'm not convinced that 96 car isn't the second fastest car on the racetrack right now. I don't know if he's Austin Edwards fast. That 96 car is, he almost gets into Rondoletto. He might have there. That's so close off the corner. That 96 car, though, I think he's just about as fast as about anyone on this track right now. There's a good battle going on between Matt Baer and Chase Johnson for 6th right now.
Yeah, and Mason Foster, he's definitely fast. We saw him on the restart passing cars on the outside. Now he's looking under the 77 on the inside, so he can run pretty much everywhere. Now he goes looking to the outside of the 77 coming off turn 3. Gets a little bit squirrely, but gets a run up off the turn, and as he goes off into 1, he's got a lot of speed up there on the high side. He can run both lines and take advantage.
He went a little too high there and won that time, though. He tried to take a little bit too big of a bite there, and that came back to hurt him. Now he has to fight for 5th with Chase Johnson. Johnson trying to get himself back in the top 5. That 96 car, though, fighting back on the high side is... big contact there between Rondoletto. Rondoletto spins, Varney spins, and Foster's going to spin. Matt Baer gets involved. Baer goes over the fence, and Robert Corrigan's going to get involved. Rondoletto barrel rolls down turn 3, and just like that, 3rd through about 7th get taken out.
Yeah, this is a bit crazy watching the replay as we've got...
Rondoletto's looking for someone.
The 10 car, or the 18 car just went over the fence onto pit road.
Varney and Rondoletto were not happy with one another right now. Those two are kind of swinging at each other. Let's see what happens. Varney's now trying to chase down Rondoletto. Rondoletto's going to run away. Matthew Baer just got scolded by race control. That's irrelevant at this point. I'm keeping a close eye right now on the 77 and 2 car. Those 2 cars are upset with one another.
Yeah, that I don't blame them. These guys are a bit frustrated. They're getting very late in the race. Rondoletto just lost his entire front clip after barrel rolling, and several cars collected in that as well. We've got a lot of cars on pit road having to get repairs. Rondoletto, surprisingly, has not gone to pit road yet. Hopefully his spotter's telling him, hey, to cool down a little bit before he goes and does something he regrets. But he's still in 4th, but I'd imagine without that front clip, he's going to be struggling to stay on the lead lap. That's 2 weeks in a row with late race. Something has gone wrong for Rondoletto, and definitely not the way he wanted mid-season to go after being so strong early on.
Yeah, it's a tough break for the guy who won Thompson earlier this year. I expected him to have more wins at this point in the season than just the one, but as we said, only the one. Could have easily been a lot more, though. He's had a lot slip away. This is another one where he had a podium, it looked like, that has kind of slipped away. So, the 77 car of Octavio Rondoletto, he's going to stay out there, and we'll have to see how much speed he has. It's going to be a tall task for him to try to recover from what has happened to him, though. Brandon Varney's in the pits. That car is heavily damaged. He's probably not going to be able to get back out there and be competitive. Matthew Baer, he also, I believe, is going to get trapped a lap down after all this ends up unfolding. Let's see. I'm not positive, but we only have about 7 or 8 cars in the lead lap when we get this thing restarted. Perseverance Award, Kendrick Cryer, after being 4 laps down. He just got the wave around. After fighting this whole race, we're going to get a restart with about 20 to go, and Cryer is going to be back on the lead lap finally.
Yeah, and Matt Baer is the one, he got, in that incident, he actually got sent over the pit wall at turn 3 and managed to recover it. So great job by Matt Baer recovering and staying on the lead lap, it looks like. And as you said, Kendrick Cryer now up here running, let's see, where's he going? He's going to come out in 8th. So he's still going to pull off a top 10. And again, we've mentioned him just about every caution, but Robert Colgan, he's up to 6th now. And not the fastest car, but definitely some of the best strategy out there.
Yeah, and with 20 to go, it's really anyone's game. I mean, for Robert Colgan restarting 6th,
the top 5 ain't out of the question, especially with the way these cars are damaged near him. Rondoletto's destroyed in front of him. Turpin's destroyed behind him. To his inside, Mason Foster's pretty torn up. I mean, this is, for Robert Colgan, man, this could really go his way here at the end. We'll have to see. We're going to get a delay here before we go green. I don't believe we're going green this time by. Probably next time by. It's going to be Edwards in the lead, Jailbird second. Third, Chase Johnson, the only driver with an incident-free race up to this point in the event. And actually, no, he has a 4X. He has gotten a 4X, so he is no longer the only incident-free driver in this event. Nonetheless, it's been a very good race so far for Chase Johnson. So here we go. Green flags in the air. We're down and away. And Jailbird on the high side. He's sticking with Edwards. Jailbird is not letting him get away. Jailbird pinches him down the racetrack. Jailbird gets the nose ahead. Here we go down into turns 3 and 4. What does Tyler Jailbird have up his sleeve? He really pinches the 66 car down. The 66 car eats off the corner. It's about a dead heat back to the start-finish line. Jailbird on the high side, they touch doors. They both get loose. Jailbird now knows his best shot is to give him a bump in turn 3. He can't let him get away. Does Jailbird use the bumper? Does he use a weapon? Here we go down into the corner. Jailbird thought about using the bumper. I think the 66 saw it coming and drove it deep into the corner, and now the 66 car is going to pull a little bit of a gap between the two of them, and the 66 car will be back into the lead. In third place right now is Octavio Rondoletto with no front clip. He's battling on the outside of that 57 of Chase Johnson. Johnson looks like he's probably going to take third away. He will, so Rondoletto will slip back now into fourth. Turpin running right between these guys, and there's a lot of contact. The loser there is going to be the 7 car of Robert Colgan. He goes into the outside wall. He hangs on to it, though. He's going to keep 6th for the time being. As we have 8 cars in the lead lap, Colgan, he's going to be looking to maybe get back up there and take a spot from Rondoletto, as that car looks to be following with about 15 laps to go.
Yeah, and Chase Johnson has managed to recover. He managed to avoid a lot of trouble. He started back in 15th, now up to 3rd here late in the race. 16 laps to go, and in a new car this week, definitely showing he deserves to be in that ride, and great job by him. And I am really surprised. Octavio Rondoletto's still out there, still running in about 5th, despite missing the entire front end of his car. Robert Colgan holding on to 6th and climbing back up there, and it looks like caution.
Oh, that changes everything. Doug, I'm telling you, these restarts with Jailbird on the outside, this isn't a give me for Edwards. We'll have to see where the caution was, though, before we talk more about that.
Yeah, having to look at the passes, I'm not seeing an alert on anything on where this could have occurred at, but let's see if we can find it.
See what happened here under this caution are probably about 10th of the evening. So that'll bring out the caution, as Edwards is going to be the leader. We're going to have a restart with about 10 laps to go, probably a little under 10 laps to go, probably about 8, I would guess, if I had to guess right now. And here's where we stand, Doug. With about 8 laps to go, we're going to go green. XCAL rules, no cautions within 5 laps to go. So if things are going to get hairy, they need to get hairy quick if there's going to be a caution. And as it looks like, we're going to restart with 8 cars on the lead lap, and I think there should be one more. I think there's still wave rounds because we're not within 10 laps to go. And Jordan Babinger in 9th. First time we've said his name all night. I remember the first run of the race, he was making his way up through the pack, and then he just didn't, must have got trapped laps down, but he's going to be back on the lead lap in 9th. And commenting on some great runs tonight, Doug. Let's just give him a shout out now before we get wrapped up in the finish of this thing that's sure to be epic. 11th place, Jeremy Leto. 12th place, Ryan Soper. 13th place, Alex Gang. All 3 of those cars typically, I hate to call someone a backmarker, you know, but those cars typically aren't having that great of runs. They're normally trying to run fairly clean races, just trying to bring their underfunded cars home to a decent mid-20, maybe an early 30 place finish. Tonight, 11th, 12th, and 13th for those 3 teams. For all 3 of those cars, that's like hitting the jackpot.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm sitting here watching the 53 as he comes around, trying to figure out where this incident started. And it looks like he was right by the 7 and the 96 right before the caution came out. So trying to see where the incident came from. But yeah, we've got some drivers that due to attrition and other factors and just some great saves out there have managed to recover quite well and get some good finishes that they normally wouldn't.
Oh, and Trevor Birchmere disqualified from the race for causing that yellow. So Trevor Birchmere, he is out of the event. Tough break there for Birchmere. We get everyone doubled up with 10 laps to go. And
it looks like the 81 got into the 53 coming off turn 3. That's what brought us under caution this time.
Oh, something must have involved the 21 because he was disqualified by race control. Not sure what happened with him. Regardless, though, we're going to be restarting here with, actually, this time by, we just got 9 to go. So if we go green this time by, there will be 8 to go, but I think the lights did just go back on the pace truck. And no, they didn't. They're off. So we should be going green this time by with 8 laps to go. So here we go. Edwards on the inside, Jalbert on the outside. And oh, a little issue there for Johnson, but he's still right there. Let's see how this restart goes. Jalbert needs to time this thing picture perfect if he wants to get the jump. Here we go through 3 and 4, and green flag in the air. Jalbert's going to stick with him. Jalbert is right there. The 66 does get a little bit of an advantage, but Jalbert, he's going to try to keep it stuck up on the high side. I think he drove it too deep. Let's see if he recovers. The 04 dives back down low. I don't know if he's close enough to try to pull a bump without making it look egregious, as the 454 gets shoved into the outside wall by Chase Johnson. Hard contact there. A big collision with that outside retaining wall for Luke Turpin, and he's going to lose a mess of spots there. He drops all the way back to about 8th, Doug.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt, but he'll still get a top 10 finish out of it. He should be able to at least limp it around. As we look at his car, not too heavily damaged, a little bit to the right front caved in, but he's going to be able to limp it around and make it home with this one and still get a top 10 out of it, but definitely not the way he wanted things to go. He was up there battling for the top spot and suddenly now relegated to about 8th place. It looks like he's going to be the last car on the lead lap.
So he will be the last car on the lead lap, and his car is destroyed right now. That car can barely stay on the racetrack. 5 to go, no more cautions. We are green till the end. Can Tyler Jalbert track down Austin Edwards, or will the car that has pretty much dominated this race since the drop of the green flag bring home his 5th win of the season? We are about to find out. Austin Edwards trying to be the first driver of the season with 5 victories as he continues to click away the laps. Just some compliments on some runs here at the end of this race, Doug, if we don't get a chance to talk about them. Right now, 6th place, Robert Colgan. Story of the race has been his strategy. Great run for that 7 team. Took about a 25th place car. Looks like they're going to bring it home in about 6th. 5th place with no front clip right now, Octavio Rondolendo. And Mason Foster, first week in the 96 car, running in 4th right now. What a good run for Mason right now in that 96 machine. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go, and Austin Edwards will come around to put Luke Turpin a lap down as that car is barely able to run around the racetrack. It is so damaged right now. And here we go, 66 of Austin Edwards. He drives it off the corner. White flag in the air, 1 more lap to negotiate.
Luke Turpin tapped the 57.
What's up?
Well, Luke Turpin just tapped the 57 right in front of the start-finish line. That could come into play as the 66 comes around to take the checkers.
Yeah, he did, and that really messed up the 57 car. That's going to put Colgan in the top 5 if Chase can't get back there. Edwards wins. Here we go, battle for 5th to the line. Does Johnson give Colgan a bump? He won't. Colgan's going to get 5th. Edwards gets his 5th win of the year. Jalbert 2nd, 3rd Rondoletto. 4th is going to be Jordan Babinger. Babinger, how about that, Doug? He was running 11th before the last caution, running laps down all day. He somehow gets 4th out of this race, and Robert Colgan ends up 5th in all the late race drama.
That is a bit crazy. It definitely a heck of a finish out of Babinger. He just came out of nowhere in the last 10, 15 laps. So great run out of his car, out of his team, and heck of a save right there at the end. And like you said, Robert Colgan comes home 5th. That's a truly impressive run out of that car.
All right, so we are going to try to catch a word here with some of our top finishers.
While we're waiting to get them, why don't we get in the commercial for next week while everybody gets to their pits?
That too, and Doug, actually this week a little bit something different. We've talked a lot about Robert Colgan all night. How about you go down on pit road? I think you might have a microphone near Robert Colgan right now, kind of the guy we was talking about all night.
Hey, Robert Colgan, this is Doug. You got me?
Yeah.
Hey, man, you had a heck of a night. Strategy played, kept you on the lead lap all night. Definitely not the fastest car out there, but one of the smartest. Congratulations on a fifth place finish.
Thank you. Yeah, thank Twisted Chassis, Jeff, and Big John. They helped me a lot this week.
And it's only your second race in the league to come home fifth tonight's got to be a huge a boost for the whole team.
Yeah, I think I'm as shocked as anybody, to be honest with you. I just driving around out there logging laps.
Well, you logged the right amount of laps in the right places. You managed to get waved around a couple times, managed to stay on the lead lap, and survive the chaos in the last 10 to come home fifth.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, thanks Jeff and Big John. They helped me out. Some of the guys over at BBM too, through the week, helping out with setups and just working together. And just got to keep a clean head.
Well, congratulations, man. That was definitely a great night, and you definitely earned your top 5.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so that's our fifth place finisher tonight. Now I'm a little bit further down pit road, and I'm catching up with our third place finisher, Octavio Rondoletto. Octavio, a pretty up and down night for you. You had to start all the way in the back of the field in 33rd. You were able to work your way up front. Tell us how you were able to bring that car home third when it had so much damage.
Hello, Doug. Hello, PD. Well, I'm surprised about what happened in the last lap. I'm happy with the result, but wow, what a finish! It was controversial.
All right, Octavio. Well, before we let you go celebrate with your team, a great finish. Who do you want to thank for sponsors and crew?
I want to say thanks to the whole team, and I will keep working for the next race, similar track, and I want to do something.
All right. Well, thank you, Octavio. Octavio Rondoletto, third place finisher tonight. Doug, I think you're caught up with our second place finisher down on pit road.
Tyler Gilbert, the weapon, congratulations on a second place finish. A great run there at the end.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty good.
I gotta ask if you were battling Austin Edwards there every restart. You were trying to get by him on the outside. Had you had the preferred line, would you have been able to get around him to the inside there, or was he just that much quicker?
He's definitely hooked up on the inside, and I prefer the outside here, so I'm just hoping I can get a little bit of restart there and give him something for his money, but didn't pull off in the end.
Still a great finish, and you managed to come through pretty clean tonight. I think you only finished with like a 4X, which is one of your best races of the season based on that.
Yeah, it was a good race, just staying out of trouble and keeping my nose clean, and it paid off.
Well, congratulations. We definitely saw a lot smarter driving out of you tonight, and it definitely paid off. Before we let you go, any sponsors or crew you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone on the team. We had a pretty good setup inside and outside. GTR Simulators, Mini-Me Bow Company. Check them out on Facebook. And Main Mobile Truck Service, last one.
All right, man. Congratulations. Go celebrate with your team. Have a great one.
Thank you.
All right, that is the weapon with a great second place finish there, Doug. And now down here in Victory Lane, we've caught up with our winner, Austin Edwards. It's funny, Austin, in Discord, you have kind of some guys have nicknames in here on Discord. If you guys don't know what Discord is, it's the app where we all communicate with one another throughout the week. And everyone has to have their real name in the XCAL Discord, but some guys have quotations in the middle with like a nickname that's kind of funny. Austin's is just 1.3 because that's his average finish. And it might be 1.2 now, Austin. You pick up your season leading 5 wins here in the XCAL Racing Series, and tonight was, I have to say, I think one of the more dominant ones start to finish. It really seemed like you had a slight edge on the field all night. I mean, Luke Turpin, Octavio Rondoletto, Brandon Varney, Tyler Jalbert, those guys were all quick. It just kind of felt to us, though, like that 66 car had a little bit of something that they didn't.
Yeah, there's no doubt the 66 car had a lot of speed here at Concord, and those guys were far behind me. I was barely getting them in the heat races and in qualifying and all that fun stuff. They were just right there behind me, but I also had that little bit of edge on them. So that was really good to have going into this event, start up front and get going for the race. But in order to get that average finish down, you have to have a long run car as well. So I was able to really tune that in for this main event and adjust the track conditions that were a little bit different than we were expecting. Everyone got a little bit tighter than we thought these cars would be. So some last-minute adjustments, got thrown out the car before I hit the track, and they worked out perfectly. So we were able to bring home win number 5, and I think like 1.234 something weird is going to be my average finish now. So I'm going to have to do the math on that.
It's going to keep getting weird if you keep winning, I'll say that much. But Austin, 3 in a row for you now. You won at the road course, then you won at the bull ring last week at South Boston. That one was a little different than this one. Wouldn't necessarily say you dominated that one. Today, you dominate Concord. Can you make it 4 in a row at Lanier? And it's going to be so difficult because, South Boston, Concord, Lanier, all these short little bull rings, you're lucky to survive them. Do you think 4 in a row is out of the question at Lanier?
It's going to be really tough. I was even surprised I was able to survive this one. There were a couple really close calls. There was a couple even contact. I got rear-ended pretty hard at one point in this race. So I was surprised to even survive this one. But Lanier is going to start even more cars in this one, so it's going to be just adding to the chaos. But not to mention a lot of people are really good at Lanier, and it's not one of my strongest tracks. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of extra testing to get ready for that track, and hopefully we can at least get a good points today or even go 4 in a row. Who knows?
All right, well, Austin, before we let you off the hook here, who do you got to thank for sponsors and crew on the 66 car?
Well, Paul Coleman and K2 are the guys that make it happen. K2, the best sauce, everything sauce. You got to get some of it for yourself. And Paul brought me into this right as the Thompson race started, where I got my first finish, second place. So a big thanks to him for giving me the opportunity and believing in me and bringing home some good finishes for him. So it's really cool for the K2 racing team.
All right, well, thank you, Austin. Congratulations. 3 in a row, 5 wins on the season for Austin Edwards. And, Doug, that'll put the Concord race in the book. A race with a lot of twists and turns, a lot of different things that went down. I do want to update something. We kind of covered Pud Ryan Soper. He's having a great race all day long. He got involved in a big wreck on the last restart. It blew his motor, and he actually ended up finishing 18th after restarting in 12th. So just when things were looking up for Pud, unfortunately, the day did not end the way he hoped it would.
Yeah, but Mike Stoddard managed to capitalize, and that was another one we were talking about, and Jeremy Leto as well. Mike comes home 13th after running in the 20s all night, and Jeremy Leto managed to work his way up to 11th there at the end of the race with the last 10-lap chaos. So great runs by those guys. Alexander Gangler comes home in 12th as well. So a bunch of guys that managed to capitalize on some of the late race chaos and make it work for them.
All right, Doug. Well, I think that'll pretty much wrap up things here from the Concord Speedway. My name is PDJ Zeller. On behalf of Doug and all the guys at over How to Suck at iRacing, thank you to Doug. I'm just the voice that's talking over here. Doug's pushing all the buttons, doing all the hard work. I promise you, Doug's job's a lot harder than my job. Thank you to Aaron Hillbush and all the guys over at XCAL Racing that put on these fantastic events and give us something to call. Without them, we wouldn't be up to a whole lot right now. Thank you to all of our sponsors here at XCAL Racing, including Butt Kicker, K2 Sauces, First and 15, Sim Racer Coin, the XCAL Racing web shop, and many more you can check out on www.xcalracing.com. Thank you to tonight's junior admin, Bowen Smith, for calling a great race as always. And of course, thank you, my friend, for watching this event. We'll see you next week, same time, different voice, different track. See you there.